Are we live? Are we live on Twitch, or is there a countdown?
We've been live since the laptop scandal. Grind Gremlin you can't hear them. It shows that they're talking.
Again, exactly what was happening beforehand. I'm sorry, guys. I invited you onto a professional podcast here, and Respawn again has let us down.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah,
that was a really good.
Oh, it's K4
English accent. That is the best accent I've ever heard Respawn do with any episode. That was much better than his pirate voice.
That's definitely saying something, isn't it?
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Night Demon, the Pink-Panted Pansy, Peroty, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
Yeah, no, it definitely shows that y'all are talking. I don't know what he's talking about. Can one of y'all jump in to see? Barely hear them like Lolo? Bruh. What?
Which?
They're louder than me. My volume is half there.
No. This is the problem that you have, is that you adjust it so that you can hear us slightly louder.
No.
For some reason, the people
you guys are adjusted to my headpiece, right?
Yeah.
This little thing right here. But your volume was always max on
you
the
always
OBS.
say this. You always say this.
I'm looking, bruh. Do I have to show you?
But the listeners are the ones that matter. It doesn't matter if you can hear us; it's the listeners.
No. Look, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
Where's the? Let's do that. Let's properties.
Right. Well, I've just dropped in, and I can Respawn. No, I can hear Demon perfectly fine.
Yeah, I could hear him clearly too.
I don't know what's going on because my volume is half of yours. Mine's negative 40 decibels.
Is somebody playing with you?
Negative 20. Okay. I don't know what's going on, K4, but they said that they can hear everybody just fine. I don't know if it's on your end or what, brother.
I think you're just going to have to learn sign language. So whatever we're saying, you're going to have to sign to people.
No, that would be cool if I could get like a little caption at the bottom again. Like a subtitle. Yeah, subtitle, not a caption. Subtitles.
Yeah. But the problem is with the weird and wonderful names that Destiny has, some of the subtitles don't kind of turn out the way you kind of want them. Which is why I always write our subtitles on our videos so that it is what it actually
yourself?
Is. Yeah.
Wow. You are a nut job, my friend.
Well, I work from a script, so there's no point in kind of throwing that script away. I copy it and put it into the notes on YouTube to be the actual notes or the subtitles. So that's exactly what I'm saying.
I always thought that we were a real podcast. That's why people liked us. And now you're trying to tell people that you work from a script.
I work from a script if I'm doing a video about like what's happening next week, what's happening this week, blah, 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 all those kind of things. Anything that kind of video-wise, I'll write it all down so that there is a subtitle there for it.
You know those videos that Peroty always jokes about that people should watch, and if only someone did a video telling us what was coming up next week in Destiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones.
Those ones. This is your weekly rundown of Season 23, Week 26, Season of the Wish. The Season of the Wish finale goes live this week. As veiled threats emerge, we will have to get closer to the heart. This week sees the final two bosses added to the Pantheon PvE raid gauntlet, which will see you face off against Golgoroth, Caretaker, Zorok, Atrax 1, Oryx, and Rook, with Rhythm from Last Wish and Nezarec from Root of Nightmares rounding out the final challenge. This week sees the second week of the exotic mission 0 Hour, where players can pick up the second catalyst for the craftable version of the Outbreak Perfected. Also continuing this week, we have the Horde game mode Onslaught, where you only have a couple of weeks left to grab your shiny versions of the Brave Weapon Arsenal and the Super Black Shader. For our Legacy rotation, the Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level. Petrivenge can be found in the Strand with the Broken Courier mission. The Blindwell features Scorn enemies and the Plagues, Sicarus and Veracus. The Ascendant challenge will be the Agonon's Abyss over in the Bay of Drowned Wishes Lost Sector. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is Beyond, The Drove Guardian is located in Archer's Line, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Jax, Claws of Zevra Wrath at the Hellmouth. Nightmare hunts Skolas, Pride, Omnigul, Anguish, and Zydron Servitude. On Europa this week, Corredis the Dark Priestess will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Survival. Days of Resenting Legendary rounds are Cabal, Taken, and Crota. The Scatterhorn armor set and the Wild Hunt armor set will be available in Days of Eternity with Weapon Set 1. Arsenic Bite 4B, Blast Batu, Corsair's Wrath, Deafening Whisper, Dire Promise, Enigma's Draw, Escape Velocity, Giant 7 Rifle, Friction Fire, Royal Chase, True Prophecy, and Timeline's Vertex. The Witch Queen Weekly Story mission is The Cunning, Altar of Reflections Catalyst, and Altar of Reflections Pact. The Lightfall Weekly mission is Desperate Measures, the Partition mission will be Backdoor, and the Vex Incursion will be Sapphire Concourse. The Crota's End Raid Challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Crota, Son of Oryx, called All for One. The Root of Nightmares Raid Challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Cataclysm, called Illuminated Torment. The Kingsfall Raid Challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Golgoroth, called Gazer Maze. The Vault of Glass Challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Gatekeeper, called Strangers in Time. The Deepstone Crypt Challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Tanix, called The Core 4. The Garden of Salvation Challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Sanctified Mind, called 0 to 100. And the Last Wish Challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Morgoth, called Forever Fight. Your pinnacle raid will be the Vow the Disciple over on the Throne World, with all challenges available for each encounter, with the Exotic Pulse Rifle Collective Obligation being farmable from the final boss. The pinnacle dungeon will be the Prophecy over in the Legends tab. The Exotic Mission Rotator will be Presage, with the Dead Man's Tale Exotic Scout Rifle being the main reward. The Season of the Haunted and Opulent Weapon sets, plus the Eidolon Pursuant Armor set. The exotic missions The Whisper and 0 Hour are also available over in the Interlight node. Lost Sectors, Tuesday the Quarry on the DZ for exotic gauntlets, Wednesday Fillion's Rest on the Dreaming City for exotic chests, Thursday Bear Drowned Wishes on the Dreaming City for exotic helmets, Friday Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for exotic boots, Saturday Perdition on Europa for exotic gauntlets, Sunday Bunker E15 on Europa for exotic chests, and Monday Concealed Void on Europa for exotic helmets. Also, this week's weapon rotation will start on set 4 on Tuesday's reset. Our 26th featured Nightfall was decisive against Hymix in the birthplace of the Vial over on the Throne World, with the Undercurrent Grenade Launcher being the featured weapon. The 6v6 Control playlist will be Control, Mayhem in the Party Relentless playlist, New Territory Game Rotation in the 3v3 playlist, Hardware Supremacy in Crucible Labs, and Trials of Osiris at the weekend, with Sirius Plaza as the featured map. Plus, bonus Trials ranks available all weekend. Also, don't forget to start collecting all your Season of the Wish Pass items, any items left over from Hall of Champions, Shax and Arcite 9940, any items from the Helm vendors, plus your reward tracker items and engrams from the Tower vendors, and complete your challenges for a large pile of Bright Dust. Grab these before the end of the season as they will reset and you will lose all items when the final shape begins. Plus, don't forget your free pile of 700 Bright Dust from the Evervest store. And that's it for the 26th week of Season of the Wish.
Alright, so this week we have special guest, Respawn. First time
Yeah, talk about it. First time host, so he doesn't know how to adjust his volumes.
Yeah,
Welcome to first time host.
Exactly. And I am joining the wonderful cast of Night Demon, who I understand is a Titan main. Don Ozarda, who likes to privy himself as a hunter main. Have yet to see any true examples of him being a hunter. Now, don't get me wrong, he does use the hunter class, but is he really a hunter? Jury's out. And then Noble, who is apparently not a main of any kind, from what I understand. He likes a bit of everything. His cup of tea is never full. And we're down a Peroty, because Peroty says that my feet stink and my mom dresses me like a troll, which was mean. But, you can't, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. So, welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, episode 278-ish? 279?
Yeah, I think that's about right, yeah.
Okay,
278. That's where we are.
Something. And, it's
been a week of information. Lots of final shape information. So
some
we have
that are infuriating, some other exotics that are infuriating, and Titans trying to play it being a golden gunner, which
well, not just Titans, Warlocks as well, and Hunters having extra golden guns. So plus.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because when you say it's DPS phase, we need 6 Hunters with golden gun. Now you can have a hunter with you can have other people with golden guns, literal golden guns. There you go. But yes, we have gathered Don and Noble here today to add more opinions to the mix because, my right arm has been cut off this week with Peroty going. So I've assembled 2 other members of the team that can step up and give you the best opinions. They may be able to enable Respawn to kind of go off into a rant. We don't know because we haven't got there yet. But there may be a rant.
I do generally try and get Respawn on a run.
Yeah. Well, I think he's made up his mind already this week, seeing like Titan exotics and weapons and developer tunings. So there's lots to get into. So shall we dive straight into the developer insight for the Final Shape weapon tuning preview that they dropped on May 15th?
Sure, the weapon preview, that would be you? It would be you.
It's all me.
All right.
But you guys can join in because I have forwarded you the document, which is just kind of a basic streamline of the developer insight that they did put out on the Bungie.net website. So if you want to kind of look at that, I will link that in the show notes. But we'll kick things off with Hey Guardians. It's the weapons team here with the balance update for the Final Shape. So there's a lot to go through, from a comprehensive PvE weapon damage pass to exotic changes. These vary from substantial reworks to minor tweaks, and they're tapping down some outliers with an eye towards the world's first rate for the upcoming raid. And there may be hints in there about a returning fan favourite weapon too. So I didn't get the fan favourite weapon. Did anybody kind of read it and find the fan favourite weapon?
I saw a hand cannon that was coming back. It was a legendary one, though, not an exotic.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's coming back or if it's just been unsunset. But yeah, in the preview, there's some stuff we've seen before, but ain't no telling which one is, quote, coming back.
No. Okay.
Well,
but,
yeah, I mean, let's be honest, though.
Symbols,
Let's be honest with each other, though. No matter what comes back, right? And this is why I have a distrust with Bungie, because they brought back fan favorites. They brought back Whispering or Black Hammer, Black Spindle. What was the exotic form? Was it the Spindle or the Hammer that was exotic?
Spindle,
I think.
Spindle was exotic.
So Black Hammer was the legendary version of the Whisper of the Worm, and Black Spindle was the exotic version. And out the box, you had magic bullets, meaning as long as you landed 3 shots, you'd get bullets back in your magazine from the ether, right? Just infinite ammo, essentially. And they nerfed it in
D1.
Basically the same way they nerfed it in D2. So when they brought that back, they brought it back in its original form, of course, nerfed it. And then the Gallahorn was another one that came back. They brought it back in its original form-ish, and then nerfed it, right? So when it comes to bringing back fan favorites, every fan favorite they bring back is nerfed or changed, and it's not always for the better. Some of them are good, right? Necrochasm, for example, pretty good. But, I mean, it's few and far between, you know? So whenever they say they're bringing back a fan favorite, I'm immediately cringing because I'm just like,
Well, that's your opinion. What about you, Donny? What do you reckon on this? Do you trust Bungie? As Respawn doesn't.
Well, with me, it's more 50-50 because you get happy when you see a certain weapon come back. And if they say like a fan favorite, a lot of the community want the Zalo Supercell back, for example.
Oh my God, yes. Sorry.
They bring that weapon back, and it's going to be a plus-size model of the Risk Runner eventually. Yeah. And that's when the whole community goes sour and all go like, oh, we knew about this and we knew this was going to happen. But it's always like, what are they going to do? Because even if you like or dislike the weapon, certain weapons were broken when everyone was using it. And that's why everyone was using it. So it's a 50-50 situation because you can adjust the weapon. But how far do you go before adjusting means breaking the weapon?
Well, the Zalo Supercell, it was good because it chained lightning.
Yeah,
and I think the big part about it is it healed you. Now, the Risk Runner doesn't heal you. The Risk Runner reloads its ammo and gives you an overshield. Yeah. Right, but it doesn't heal you. So if I can get that healing back just by using a gun like the Zalo Supercell, that's all I really care about. I don't want it to be like unwieldy, like come back. Oh yeah, you can do this, but it handles like a huckleberry. No, thank you. Right? Because it was an AK-47 model, if you remember back in D1, and it did jump a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But
what about you, Noble?
In healing, yeah.
What do you reckon?
To be honest, I'm a little bit like Donny. I just think, like, what's it matter? Anything they bring back, if they're going to bring it back, they're going to bring it back into the original case. Everybody's going to get super excited about it, and then they're just going to slap it into the ground and make it that nobody ever really wants to use it anyway.
Kind of sounds like me.
And I'm not being funny, but like returning exotics, no, I'd rather you didn't return an exotic. I'd rather you didn't bring something back. I love Zalo. I'm with you, Respawn. Completely agree. Love that gun. It was amazing. But don't bring me back another weapon. Don't put time and effort into reworking a weapon from Destiny 1. Put the time and effort into giving me a new, cool weapon.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. Because if they bring it back, it doesn't meet the expectations of what it was before, or if they didn't nerf it, or if they did nerf it, people are expecting it to come back better than it was before in Destiny 2. Yeah. So give us something different, like the Risk Runner is to the Zalo Super Stealth, because it is different. People do use it, and it is a different kind of way of using it, basically. So I agree with you on that one.
I mean, honestly, I love it, but like one of my favourite weapons when we first got into Destiny 2 was grenade launcher. Fires little like spiders out. Can't think of its name. It's about to get another rework.
The Colony?
That's the one.
That does look really good. Oh
absolutely
my God,
loved that weapon in year one when we first got it. You know what I mean? Thought it was brilliant because it was so different.
Yeah.
Like we'd never had anything like it before. It was so cool to watch.
It would mow people down in PvP. It don't do that no more. It doesn't have nearly the tracking or damage it used to.
No,
but once you got heavy in PvP and you had the Colony, you were killing people. That little spider would chase them down and boom.
Yeah, just shoot it in the general direction and it will hit something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? But yeah, but that was new. It was fresh. It was fun because it was different to anything we'd ever had before.
Yeah. Well, something that I'm kind of interested to see because of what they've kind of done already is that they explained that back in update 6.3.0, they rolled out a set of spec mods, Dragonfly, Surrounded, and Rampage, into the base functionality of those perks. So basically, we had Rampage spec, which was better than Rampage, but then they decided to put that into the actual Rampage perk, so you didn't have to kind of put that mod into the weapon. And what they're going to do now is come for the rest of the mods that we've kind of got, which are Boss spec, Taken spec, Minor spec, Major spec, and Adept big ones. I'm a little bit upset about Adept big ones going, but it kind of does help me with my vault space because I do.
Because now you really don't need Adept weapons anymore.
Well, I don't need to kind of go, you know what, I'm keeping that in Azami RR4 Adept because I can put an Adept big ones on there. It's a really bad roll, but I'm keeping it for doing like that kind of Adept thing that I can only put those specific mods into for kind of doing the Nightfalls. There will be other mods that you can kind of still put in there at the moment. So what they are, let's have a look.
Well, there'll still be Adept blast radius.
Yeah.
Adept charge time, counterbalance, handling, Icarus, impact, mag, projectile speed, range, reload stability, and targeting.
Yeah. But I think unless it's a good Adept weapon, I don't really want to kind of keep it. Like I said, I was only kind of keeping some of these Adept weapons because they could put Adept big ones on and it might help with kind of DPS or something else. So it kind of does help alleviate some of my kind of worry with vault space. I don't know about you guys. What does it matter to you that these are going away or being
no, it does matter to me because the first thing that came to mind is the Adept big ones. That is literally the only reason I get Adept weapons. Yes, technically Adept weapons you can get 2 points in every other like handling, reload speed, all that other stuff. You get extra. God, what is the word, man? It's not a perk, man. Stats. You get extra stat points.
Stat points, yes.
You get extra stat points in every category, and that's kind of cool. It's not that big a change, but the main thing is the Adept big ones. That is, in my opinion, though I'm a PvE player, keep in mind, but in my opinion, that is the biggest reason to have an Adept weapon.
Yeah, I mean,
not the aiming or the blast radius or any of that. The big one spec, for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it bothers me getting rid of Taken spec. That really annoys me. Like, why am I getting rid of Taken spec?
It's probably
because it was making it a bit too easy, I guess.
It's
Yeah.
only like a 7% damage buff, I think, right? 7?
Well, what
10?
you've got to think of
7.77, funnily enough.
Yeah.
what you've got to think about is that all of these changes that are going to kind of come into effect are because of the testing that they've done with the final shape and all the different kind of changes that they're making to weapons and exotics and the game itself as a whole. So they're bringing some weapons up, taking some weapons down, adjusting some slightly so that it all kind of will be the same so that you don't kind of miss the adept big ones. So there is kind of that, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, but it sounds like they're making it more accessible for everyone in general, because it looks like they're going to lean more into the crafting the weapons, no matter what kind of frame it is, or if it's an adapt weapon or not.
Yeah.
They are getting rid of all the things that make the adapt better compared to the normal weapon.
Well, you say that, but they are kind of making you able to enhance the weapon perks on adepts.
Yeah, but it's still going to go towards crafting instead of grinding or doing a harder difficulty raid or dungeon to get set adept weapon.
Yeah, I guess that. I mean, because I got quite excited when I did get my adept big ones to drop from, I think it was from a Nightfall. And I was like, yes, and if you go to the lighthouse, you get like the adept mods to drop. So if you're missing any, it's kind of Nightfalls or trials and things like that. So it's one of those rewards that they're kind of taking away. But yeah, they say with
if
these,
they're going to take that away, then what are they going to do to replace it, though? Right? I mean,
give
you
you
got
more
to give
cores.
something.
Give me
Well,
some,
maybe
give me more glimmer.
craftable trials or get easier from, let's say, certain activities that a clanmate can do or clan can do, so other people can get in clan engram again. Looks like it's going that
No,
way.
I'm not talking about like how to acquire the weapons. We're talking about what to do with weapons that have like adept modifiers on them. It's like,
well, they'll be taken off, won't they? They're just deprecated. Though you'll have to kind of change it out.
these guys went in without me. All right, cool, sure. It's not like I need to change my super or anything. Whatever, fine.
So with these
Anyway.
mod changes, exotic primary weapons and trace rifles are getting a slight reduction in their damage bonus versus red bars. In most cases, this means the damage output is roughly unchanged with like putting the mods on there. So they reduced the bonus versus minus from 40 to 30%, except for the exotic primary ammo grenade launcher Fighting Lion, because that's special in itself, basically.
What it thinks.
Yeah. Included below are the matching damage changes by weapon archetype. These changes are PvE only unless stated otherwise. So there are some exceptions for exotic weapons that are already performing strongly, so they've applied some buffs to just specific tiers of enemies. And because exotic weapons can't equip mods, this gives them a larger relative buff than legendaries. So for example, the exotic submachine gun, the Risk Runner, maximum possible damage is increased by 10% versus red bars, but the legendary submachine gun Shariah's Wrath is only increased by 3% in effect because it can no longer slot the minor spec mod, which is good because I love a good Risk Runner, and for that to get a buff is really good. I love using that on Onslaught. What about you guys? Are you happy about this kind of change that they're doing with that?
The fact that they can do the weapons individually makes it better, because usually we had times when a certain SMG or auto rifle was broken. It was only that weapon, and they just disabled the whole archetype of that weapon in a certain gameplay. So it's okay, and to make a exotic better than a legendary is, in my opinion, a plus.
Yeah,
I mean, they're exotic for a reason. So many exotics we have are not even up to, how many legendaries do we have that are more powerful than exotic counterparts in its same class? You know what I mean?
Well,
A lot, or at least it feels like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But this is why I think they're adjusting them individually is going to help, because they can go, right, Risk Runner needs this buff because it's being outperformed by legendaries. So
But what's changed? They've been able to individually tune stuff for a hot minute now. So, like,
Which
why
is
are we
more
talking about
frustrating.
this now?
If they can do it, why haven't they been doing this all along? Why
Yeah.
instead have we had just nerfs to complete archetypes for years instead of individual?
Well, no, the last few years they have been doing it to individual perks and individual guns. They have been, That's why I'm trying to figure out why we're having this conversation, because this isn't new news. They they've been actively doing this for quite a while now. You know, so unless I've missed something, then what's the big deal?
They're telling us again that they're doing it.
Okay.
So yeah. So in addition to the compensating for the removal of the spec mods, they've taken this opportunity to buff some weapon types that have languished in endgame PvE, most notably pulse rifles. So they've increased the base PvE damage versus all combatants for pulse rifles by 20%, except Graviton Lance and Revision Zero's heavy burst mode, because these both have intrinsic PvE damage buffs built in. Pellet shotguns. Well,
sorry, no, I was going to say don't care as long as they don't touch Outbreak Perfected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yes. Have you used it lately?
No.
Oh my God.
Sorry. It's always been good.
No, but like it's good now, especially when you can change the perks on it that you want. And now with the craftable version, they have an additional perk that increases the nanite damage even further that you don't get on the base exotic version. At least not that I've seen. I looked at my base exotic. There's nothing in there that says increases the damage of the nanite, but
the catalyst does.
Oh, does it? Well, interesting. Because the new one, like as soon as you craft it, you can just put that on there. So yeah, I was like,
you can if you'd already got the catalyst.
Oh, really? Shoot, I didn't realize that. But still, I mean, it did at least in Revision 0. I don't know if Revision 0 just has extra kinetic damage, like intrinsic. But like I've noticed when I come in with the Outbreak Perfected or just kinetic weapons in general, they're doing really good damage.
And well, they are for now. We will get onto that. But yeah, the Outbreak Perfected's catalyst is a disease vector, increases nanite damage. Enemies that die will then spread the nanites to other people as they're close by. So that was the catalyst. And when Bungie was talking about bringing back the Outbreak Perfected, they said that if you've already got the catalyst for it, you don't then need to grind again for it. But I'm having to grind legendary to unlock the perks to then craft it. So I am still having to do basically what it would have to be to get a catalyst. So
and I'm guessing the rewind is probably going to be like the last week or the fourth time you have to grind for it.
Possibly, yeah.
That's the only improvement I want on it is that rewind. That's literally it.
Or Headseeker, but yeah. But
I don't do PvP. Why do I need Headseeker? Nah. Rewind, 100%.
Anyway, let's rewind and get back to the buffs. So pellet shotguns, that's 10%. So that's things like Retold Tale, the Icalos SG, the Fellwinter's Lie, Sonja's Tale, and Wristwalker. So they're kind of adaptive, aggressive, lightweights. Exceptions are Legend of Acreus, the Tractor Cannon and Conditional Finality, and the Fourth Horseman, as these are already performing amazingly. The slug shotguns are getting 9% buff, so that's Blasphemer, First In, Last Out, Nessus Oblation, and Ganora's Axe.
Nessus's Obligation.
It's not obligation. We talked about this it was last week. It's Nessus Oblation. And I had to ask Alexa what oblation is, and it's kind of destroying things. So yeah, it kind of tracks with it. Fusion rifles, 7%. They say the exceptions are 1,000 voices because this was just buff. But I've kind of put a question mark next to Vex Mythoclast. That's going to be pretty juicy in PvE content. What do you reckon?
The Vex. What changes happened to the Vex?
Well, fusion rifles.
7% damage buff.
Oh, 7% damage buff? Yeah.
So that's going to be nice.
They did say that gun, for some of its perks and benefits, takes after auto rifles and not fusion rifles, So is it going to take the buff like it's a fusion rifle, or is it going to take the buff like it's an auto rifle? Because historically, it's kind of been both.
Well, I mean, if it takes one as an auto rifle, that's not too bad, because auto rifles are getting a 15% damage buff, so that'd be even better.
Oh.
So, take your pick. I'm happy with 7, but if you want to give me 15, that's fine.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah.
Sniper rifles get 7%, but the exceptions to this are these Ignarmi's Burden, the Honored Edge Shot, and Cloud Strike Storm. So these are both performing well. Glaive projectiles are 7%, and linear fusion rifles are 5%. So the linear fusion rifle part of the Vex Mythoclast, I'm guessing, would get that 5% as well. Does it also then get that 7% on top because it is a class as a fusion rifle? It's definitely one to look out for and keep an eye on. And I'm guessing
if you got a 22% damage buff, that would be kind of amazing.
No, if you add it together, I think it'd be like 5 on top of 7. So
Yeah,
but
he's adding the
it-
15 as
I
well.
thought he said 15.
Yeah.
Oh, my
yeah,
bad.
okay,
Put
yeah,
that 15
15
on
for
top of
ultra
there.
rifle. Yeah. So the
So is it
increase.
15?
No,
Or what?
well, no, because
No, we
it's
don't know. Like
we don't
that's
know.
what we're saying. Like
It should be
could-
7
okay.
as a fusion rifle, but a linear fusion rifle is getting a 5% buff because it can swap the two different modes of X, can't it? So once you charge it up, you can turn it into a linear fusion rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be quite good for kind of boss DPS and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna. I want the outbreak meta to come back though, with everybody shooting and the nanites just deleting. I'd
Well,
rather that over a
maybe and
Smith
maybe
class,
not.
100%.
So they've increased the damage versus minors, which are on red bars. This stacks with the base PvE damage increase. So sidearms, trace rifles, scout rifles, and bows get 20%. As Noble said, auto rifles and pulse rifles get 15%. And for pulse rifles, this is an additional to the above buff. And Graviton Lance and Revision Zero's heavy burst mode are included with this added extra buff that they weren't allowed to have previously because of the spec mods disappearing. So, for example, pulse rifles will do 1.2, 1.51 equals 38% more damage to red bars. Submachine guns, 10%. So is that, again, for the risk runners that get on top of it? They haven't kind of clarified that. Hand cannons get 5% and increased damage versus majors for orange bars. Trace rifles, 20%. And I've got to scroll down. Increased damage globally, including PvE. So there's your PvE mention.
Oh.
Machine guns are 7%, swords are 7%, and splash damage from ag clear exotic primary weapons was overperforming in the final shape. The people that played with the final shape said it was overperforming. So we need to kind of hunt those people down and pitchfork
Get a
them.
copy? Yep.
Yeah, because these are the people responsible for the reduction in splash damage by 10% for Sunshot, Trinity Ghoul, Polaris Lance, and Graviton Lance. So we need to find those people and tell them they've been naughty, because they've upset the rest of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Several releases back, kinetic weapons received a substantial damage bonus in PvE to account for it being harder to use them in the subclass builds. This will continue to be the case until they find a better definition role for kinetic weapons. But the bonus damage versus boss tier combatants was making it hard for weapons of other damage types to compete. So, your Outbreak perfected here. Kinetic damage type weapons no longer deal bonus damage to bosses. Damage to other combatant tiers is unchanged. So when you used to kind of swap to your Outbreak perfected because it was still doing really good against your bosses respawn, it's not going to be now. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry.
I was going to say, you don't sound sorry, but
Bungie aren't sorry either.
I'm sorry, and Bungie aren't sorry at all.
You're kind of sorry.
Yeah. But, for example, that where they've kind of changed things, a kinetic sniper rifle and a stasis sniper rifle of the same subfamily will both deal the same amount of damage to a boss.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you guys are all PvE players anyway, aren't you? So
Mhm.
how, in a kind of world where you're kind of playing your raids and your dungeons and things, how does this kind of affect you guys playing this with the kinetic weapons?
A
Is it
lack of
something you use?
DPS?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. Like for example, Golgoroth use a kinetic sniper to get his gaze.
Right. Yeah.
Or at least most people do. Clearly, not everybody does, but yeah. I mean, Mountaintop is kinetic.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, no. I mean, all these really good weapons are going to be taking a nerf. And I don't want that.
No. They don't do the bonus damage. They will still do the same amount of damage.
That's still a nerf, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you guys use a kinetic rather than you'd use a stasis or a strand weapon?
The amount of people
currently using Mountaintop?
Okay.
And have you seen the amount of people in Pantheon that are currently running the Supremacy?
That too.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Yes.
Yep.
And the
and then the Outbreak Perfected is another one that's going to be affected by this. Izanagi's Burden is going to take a big hit from this, actually, now that I think about it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that is absolutely used for DPS and PvE. 100%. So, yeah, no, I think this is a huge, huge nerf to kinetic weapons. So, like, oh, no, it doesn't do bonus damage. Unless the bonus damage was getting it up to the same damage as everything else, then this is a nerf. You know,
the sniper rifle, the stasis sniper should have been brought up to be in line with the kinetic sniper rifle. We shouldn't be nerfing a lot more weapons as opposed
just bring
to...
them up to par with the other weapons.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, how many stasis sniper rifles is there compared to kinetic sniper rifles? There's a lot more kinetic sniper rifles.
Yep.
So therefore...
And then it's kinetic weapons that have that perk on it. I wonder if this is why. So you know how that perk, like when you throw a grenade, it changes that weapon's
Osmosis.
energy type?
Osmosis, yeah.
Isn't that on kinetic weapons exclusively? Or am I tripping?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of.
I think
I
so,
want to
yeah.
say yes, but
I wonder
Yes,
if
I
this
think
has
it
anything to
is.
do with that.
It could be.
See, now
I
if
mean,
it
we'll
was
come
that,
to
actually, I could kind of understand that, because, I mean, like, on GeoFalcons, in like, I know we were discussing this before you started recording, Reese. I'm running GeoFalcons in... Why can't I think of the name of it? The season Onslaught, that's it. And I'm using Traveller's Chosen in there, which obviously that has osmosis.
It does, yeah.
So it gives me 3 void weapons to work with GeoFalcons. And it is absolutely ridiculous as Traveller's Chosen.
So, Noble, you mentioned the Supremacy Sniper Rifle.
Yeah.
Why, just for anybody that doesn't kind of understand, why are people using it in Pantheon? Why is there a specific reason why people are using that opposed to something else?
Let me get my supremacy, and I'll
You'll tell us
how
good it is and how we are all wrong that we should have one of these crafted.
Well,
Do the Riven wishes and get it crafted, basically.
If you are, able to use a sniper rifle, some people absolutely despise them and can't use them. Fine.
Yeah.
But if you do have the ability to use them and you aren't, complete turd with them, that one particularly is absolutely insane.
Well, I know you get reconstruction, which gives you double the magazine capacity.
That's it.
So the first thing you have to know is this is a high impact sniper, so it hits hard. And high impact snipers have anywhere between 3 to 5.
Respawn. Supremacy is a rapid fire frame.
Oh, I'm thinking of Succession. Oh, my bad. I don't know what Supremacy is. Then which one is that?
It's the Last Wish raid weapon.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah, so
they were using that because of its high.
You can do the wishes, can't you? And get this crafted from doing the Riven's wishes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But why though? I mean, like, I know it's got huge aim assist for PvP, but why would you be using it for PvE? I don't know all the roles on it.
Well, it does come with like bait and switch, opening shot,
maybe that's
elemental capacitor, vorpal weapon, kinetic tremors, 4 times a charm, focus fury.
Right, so you've got rewind.
Is bait and switch and kinetic tremors in the same slot?
You've got rewind rounds and 4th times the charm on it.
Okay.
Okay. I see.
And that's the one you want for PvE.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should go craft that because I can craft it. I think.
Yeah,
I
definitely
got
should.
all those weapons.
And go for it because, brilliant.
There you go. Yeah, because I mean, I had heard people using it, and I didn't know, any listeners out there kind of, well, why do I want to go and get a Supremacy, and what's the usage of it? And is it going to benefit people outside of Pantheon as well? Is it going to be good for kind of DPS in kind of Nightfalls and dungeons and things like that, or is it kind of one-time use?
Is rewind and bait and switch in the same column too?
I mean, you could use it. Again, it depends upon the sort of player you are.
Okay.
I wouldn't dissuggest it in dungeons such as, the one where Oryx's body is. Ghost of the Deep.
Ghost of the Deep, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, right? Because I'm trying to think. So you have the first column that's got bait and switch, rewind, or bait and switch and rewind, right? And then the second column is where you can get the 4 times the charm, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be good to have that with bait and switch, and then a heavy rocket launcher that everybody uses with bait and switch, the Apex Predator, right? And then you have a bait and switch feedback loop going on. Has that not been tested? Is that like just a crap idea? I mean, that sounds on paper like a pretty strong combination.
It's a lack of downtime during the DPS phase. So, 4th times the charm is your free ammo refill.
No, I mean 4th time with. What I'm saying is 4th times with the bait and switch. You know what I mean?
But
no, because it's in it's in the same column, so you can't have both.
Well, then rewind should be in a different column.
Rewind
than 4th time. He just said you can get
It
fourth
is.
time and rewind, so that means they got to be in different columns.
Yes.
Yeah.
But fourth
Okay.
time and bait and switch are in the same column.
In the same column, yeah.
Okay. So.
So you've got fourth time's a charm, which is your ammo refill.
Yeah,
just for
rapidly
hitting your
landing
crit.
precision hits will return 2 rounds to the magazine, and
Yeah.
then rewind
Which then-
round is when this weapon's magazine is empty, it refills reserves from the base number of hits. So it doesn't have to
Yes.
be precision hits, but as long as they're hits and you've done precision hits, you're kind of just going to keep hitting with the 4 times charm.
Okay,
and
I see what you're talking about. Okay, so
Yes.
bait and switch and rewind. There you go. Rewind to keep filling that magazine on an empty mag because it's only got, 5 rounds in the magazine? You can empty that within the 7 seconds bait and switch works, right? So you empty out the 5 rounds, you get the
Yep.
reload, you swap to your other bait and switch weapon, you
Yep.
fire that bad boy off, and then you fire your energy weapon and swap back to this bad boy. Now you got a full magazine. Bait and switch is re-engaged. You empty that mag, again, swap back to your energy weapon, hit them with that, and then go to your bait and switch heavy weapon that's got reconstruction. That's what I'm talking about. That doesn't sound like it's any downtime. That sounds like a continuous feedback loop of damage right there. You know? So what am I missing?
But have you factored in the fact that you have to shoot a rocket with a full team?
What do you mean?
How many times have
How many
you
people
killed
standing in your way?
yourself or a teammate just by the fact because there was a head in front of it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Many times. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, rockets are still the DPS in a lot of encounters. As unlucky as they are that people stand in front of you, they're still the best DPS if you have, people that don't stand in front of you.
What about
So-
the grenade launcher?
Same thing. It's an explosive.
Edge
Same
transit.
problem.
No, not Edge Transit. The Cataphract GL3, which has bait and switch and envious assassin on there.
Oh,
Well, that's Envious Assassin. You're not gonna Envious Assassin procs on kills during a DPS phase. You're not gonna be killing the boss. You're gonna be damaging a boss. So you want something like reconstruction or rewind or something like that. Something to fill your ammo that doesn't require a reload. Or I'm sorry, an enemy kill.
Okay,
So
but you'd have to
that's the ideal.
reload. You'd have to reload after with your sniper rifle anyway.
No, you wouldn't. Why would you have to?
Well, what's going to reload your sniper rifle if
The
you've kind of
rewind.
used? No, but
Rewind does it automatically.
if you've gone through all your rewind and you've
Mm-hmm.
got to the point of then you've had to switch to another weapon that's got bait and switch on it, you can't then come back to the sniper rifle because you could, but you'd have to spend time to reload it to then use it again.
Wouldn't. No, bait and switch refills your magazine based on the number of rounds that you've landed. So you hit it, and then when you hear that click for bait and switch, for rewind, then that means you've got rounds back in your magazine, and then you swap to your heavy, right? By the time you actually have to reload it, because the bait and switch.
I don't think so. I don't think bait and switch reloads your magazine.
Not bait and switch, rewind. Damn it.
But rewind wouldn't proc on other weapons, does it?
No, what I'm saying is you
No,
shoot
but he's saying
with
that
the
you
sniper rifle.
you're using rewind rounds like auto-loading holster.
Yes, there you go. So right before you stow it, you wait for the rewind to put rounds back in your magazine, right?
Okay.
Once the rewind hits, then you swap to your other bait and switch weapon after shooting with your energy weapon in the middle, right? Because that's a kinetic. Yeah, it's a kinetic.
Oh my
After
God,
shooting,
there's too much thinking to go on there.
bro, when it
sounds
comes
like
to
an
DPS
esoteric
phases,
thing.
it is a lot of
Yeah.
thinking. The DPSs do that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's actually not that much thinking as long as you once you get the feel of it. All you're doing is shooting with the primary weapon until you hear the click or you see the rewind activate, right? Then you just swap to a secondary weapon, fire 1 round because you've already shot with the sniper. So that part of the bait and switch has already been fulfilled, right?
Right.
So then you swap to your non-sniper weapon, you pop off 1 round, swap to the heavy, use that bait and switch until it's done, or you have to reload, and then hit them with your energy weapon again. And then by the time you pull out that sniper rifle again, your bait and switch has already activated. And then all you have to do at that point is keep firing what's left of your rounds. Eventually, it will not reload any more of your magazine, and you'll have to reload it, right?
Yeah.
But damage phases aren't indefinite. So
No.
ideally, I'm wondering if by the time you have to reload the sniper rifle, damage phase is over. Because you've already popped off all 5 rounds of a sniper rifle, 4 rounds from the rocket launcher with a shot in between, and then swap back. You got 3 rounds on the sniper rifle, swap back to the rocket launcher for another 2 rounds. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So
I do know what you're saying. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be kind of personal preference, isn't it? Whether you have bait and switch,
Of course.
or you have 4th time's a charm, and because it's craftable, you can kind of swap those perks around to suit you. So that would be quite good.
Just going to throw it out there as well.
Oh no, it's going to throw more into the mix.
Envious Assassin does not require kills with the weapon.
No,
Envious
it requires
Assassin
kills
works
with
off
another
other
weapon,
weapons.
but it still requires a kill.
Yeah,
and in
but
a boss
if you're
DPS, you're not killing anything. You're hitting the
not?
boss.
Right,
No.
so have you not just been able to overload your weapon with all the red bars that you've just been killing?
Yeah, that's what I normally do for, like, when I was doing Caretaker the other week, I was using my other weapons, building up the Envious Assassin. Then when we got to the Caretaker damage, I was then able to use my bait and switch on the Cataphract, throw out a couple of those, and still be able to kind of wait for the next kind of plate to move along, throw out another couple of those, and not have to reload. Just keep going around in a circle with the other 2 weapons, getting back to the Cataphract and having the bait and switch procced again to do the extra damage. So that was quite good that I didn't then
all those red bars that you're killing during planets is overflowing the magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, for that one encounter, that might be good, right?
No, because all encounters you can...
because you're going to get double your magazine capacity, best case scenario. I've used Envious Assassin, and I don't always get double my magazine capacity, right? Best case scenario, you have 10. Well, obviously, best case scenario, you get 10 grenades in your launcher, right? Well, you're gonna blow that load real fast before your bait and switch is over, and you're still gonna have to reload by the time you go to the next plate, right? And you're not killing ads between that, so you've blown your grenade launcher load. Now you have to reload it either on this plate or next plate or in the transition between plates. So at that point in time, your Envious Assassin is no good to you.
No, because then you swap, once you've reloaded, you then swap back to the other 2 weapons, use those, and then you've got the extra damage on the bait and switch.
Not during the boss phase. Oh, you mean the bait and switch? Yeah, but you still have to reload, right? I'm trying to avoid the reloading. Is my intention.
No, I know.
So that's why I want Reconstruct or Rewind, because when it comes to things like this, I'm with Peroty. Reloading breaks my immersion. I don't want to do it.
No,
So,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I would personally take auto-loaded holster above everything.
Oh, I do love an auto-loading holster.
Yeah, they don't even have that as an option on here, though.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, if I was to be hitting a reload perk, you know what I mean? I'd probably want it to hit auto-loading holster.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it depends upon the player that you are. I mean, if you're smashing out 6 or 7 grenades and then swapping over to the supremacy with the roll that we've just discussed between plates, that's still good. That's good. Sorry, that's good damage.
Yeah.
I nearly slaughtered.
What were you saying?
He nearly said a bad word.
He nearly said a bad word.
Yeah. But no, the deconstruct, I've seen a lot of things. Somebody in the chat said I'm gonna have a stroke is what I'm gonna do. Damn it. I'm just gonna use deconstruct and just keep going. Now with the deconstruct, some bosses like the Briggs are considered vehicles. So yeah, you can just pop off. But like a Cabal boss, will deconstruct work on a Cabal boss? I'm still, after the changes deconstruct has had, I'm still kind of iffy on how that thing works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, still sat on the fence about deconstruct.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody can give me an actual breakdown of what procs deconstruct sounds like an amazing perk. I have no qualms against that, right? But how do you make it proc efficiently and effectively? That's my hang up,
Well,
how do you make it work?
Officially, dealing sustained damage grants a bonus damage against vehicles and constructs and refunds ammunition. So in the testing that I've seen through like people like Fallout and I can't remember who else did it, but I know Fallout did it. It's literally as long as the wave on, like, say, the Tusk of the Boar hits 3 enemies, doesn't have to kill the enemies, 3 separate enemies, you can then proc the damage bonus, and it will auto reload from thin air at the moment into like your grenade launcher. And having something like that on an auto rifle is pretty good as well, because I think I've got one on. I was telling you guys about the auto rifle that I had it on, the Ross Argo that had deconstruct on there as well. So dealing sustained damage grants a bonus damage. If I tag 3 enemies with it, it then reloads from the reserves and things like that. So, and there are, as Peroty said, there is kind of a whole long patch note. If I'm looking at in dim at the moment, with the community insight of how much it refills the magazine on kind of auto rifles, pulse rifles, and if the magazine is this, it will do that. And so it is kind of weapon dependent, but I know from using it as the grenade launcher, deconstruct works really well kind of in Onslaught and things like that. So when you've got a group of enemies, as long as it touches those enemies and deals damage to those enemies, it will automatically reload from thin air another grenade for you to kind of then do it again. And every time you kind of fire it out, you're getting that bonus damage, and it's automatically reloading into your grenade launcher. So it is weapon dependent, but I couldn't kind of give you a definitive this is how it kind of works, because it depends basically.
Okay. Question for you guys. If somebody just happens to be currently crafting a supremacy, don't know who would do that.
Yeah.
What would the best frame be and the best
magazine would be extended. Magazine would be extended.
I have appended mag, right? I'm talking about like the barrel and the
Well, the fluted barrel is the most used one.
Fluted?
Yeah, fluted. It'd be fluted or arrowhead. Personal preference between the two.
Yeah.
Magazine would
handling?
be magazine would be extended mag.
Extended or flared, depending on what you like.
Well, why would you want extended over appended?
Because the way re-round wide, I can never say this.
They're both 7 rounds though. They both give you 7 rounds. Except extended mag takes away from reload speed, gives you airborne effectiveness.
But extended also has an increased effectiveness on airborne.
Yeah, but he just.
I'm not jumping.
I don't think he's wanting to jump. Yeah.
No. And then we're not going to be reloading because we have fourth time and rewind, right? So we don't need a reload mass to work. Would you go with range or stability?
I'd go with the draw time one. For how long it takes you, obviously, to ready the weapon.
What?
Handling.
Handling masterwork.
That's the one.
Would you not go for a stability masterwork?
It's a sniper. I know. Boss phase.
I'd go for handling so that I can swap the weapons quicker.
Okay. Really? But handling, if you look at it if I'm looking at D2 Foundry at the moment, with the handling, it's already at 83 with putting on the fluted and the appended mag. And if you're doing your rewind rounds or 4 times or bait and switch,
you're
whichever
not
one
you're swapping often.
No, but 83 is already a good kind of handling, isn't it? So
I'd say so.
Would you not say so, Noble?
No, I'd still go with it because Respawn's already talked about how small amount of time there is during a proper DPS phase. Well, the smaller the time, then surely the quicker you want to be able to swap your weapon.
I suppose if you can control the stability of it, if you do get a handling masterwork on there, it bumps up to 93.
Okay. Somebody's telling me that you don't actually want rewind and fourth time. You want bait and switch with kinetic tremors because that's the same damage as an LMG. What do y'all feel about that?
No, you can't have bait and switch and kinetic tremors because they're both in the same column. So it'd have to be bait and switch. No, it'd have to be
bait and switch and kinetic are on the same column. Yeah,
rewind or rapid hits and kinetic tremors.
You don't have audio, bro. What is going on? What do you mean you don't have audio?
They don't have audio.
No, they have audio. I think Dim was tripping. Anyway, but no, you can't have both. Like they just said, I'm looking at it now, and you can't have bait and switch and kinetic tremors. So, or kinetic tremors. Well, what would you pair that with? A rewind?
Or you could have rapid hit. But anyway, Bungie are going to make some quality of life changes to the way we call things in the game, some of these weapons. So they've updated the heavy, adaptive, and aggressive burst weapon intrinsic names to match the burst count across all weapon archetypes, and functionality is unchanged. So 2 burst heavy burst includes sidearms, hand cannons, and pulse rifles. 3-burst adaptive burst includes sidearms, linear fusion rifles, and adaptive pulse rifles. And 4-burst aggressive bursts included pulse rifles, which really threw me for a loop because I was looking for adaptive burst linear fusion rifles in my vault, and I was like, what's an adaptive? And I was like, I can't find one, but I know there was one that where you fired it, it kind of did that kind of firing.
It's the duality one, isn't it? Storm Chaser.
Was it Storm Chaser? And there was another one, wasn't there, that you could get, and I can't remember the name of it. Is it Doomed Petitioner? Or was that not? It wasn't that one, was it? There was one that you could get that would fire rapidly. Is it the Reed's Regret, which is the Vice Rapid Fire Frame one, or the Vice Stinger one? Was that another rapid fire precision frame? No, I don't. I can't
Wasn't there a solar one?
I don't think I've got it because there is one that you could get from like a raid or a dungeon that everybody was raving about. Respawn. What's the linear fusion rifle you can get from Root of Nightmares?
Root of Nightmares.
Briars.
What's that?
Briars Content, is it?
Let me check for you.
Briars Contempt.
Is
that the one where it kind of fires a 3-round burst? So this is
the heavy one.
Yeah, so they are aggressive frame, fires 3-round bursts, and they are now going to be adaptive bursts, or called adaptive bursts. That's why I couldn't find it. Thank you, Noble. I was like, I'm looking for these aggressive bursts, and I'm like, these adaptive bursts, and I'm like, they've changed the name up there, and then further on down in this kind of developer insight, they've then called them the adaptive bursts. And I'm like, I don't have any adaptive bursts. What's an adaptive burst?
You're talking about the heavy fusion or the special fusion?
The Briars Contentment. The back of page, bottom left. Bottom left on your screen now. There's going to be delayed.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so at the moment, they're aggressive frames, and some of them are aggressive frames, and they fire a 3-round burst. So they're currently called aggressive frames, but they will be called 3-burst adaptive burst, or just adaptive burst linear fusion rifles. And I guess, the same with the adaptive pulse rifles, they'll be called the same adaptive bursts. That's what really threw me for a loop, because I was like, I googled it, I was like, there is no adaptive burst. Nobody's put anything on Google, but that would explain why, because they changed the name and then they've kind of just gone with it. So they've also removed the foundry names for the Vice Rapid Fire, the Hake Precision, and Omolon Adaptive Frame weapon intrinsics. So they've removed the names, but do they still do the thing? So
if it's only the name, then it should still do what it's supposed to do.
Why remove the name then?
Why not?
Because
they are removing a lot, so why not the names?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, what I do think it might have to do with our next artifact, because it might be something, because the last couple of artifacts we had were specific to Hake this or Omolon this or Vice weapons this. I think it's going to be something in general.
Okay, so like where they've changed the names of like the different kind of bursts of weapons, they'll go, right, these kind of types of weapons will get that, so it doesn't have to be a Vice or an Omolon.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, but even those guns have their own archetypes tied with them. Like Vice is known for rapid fire auto rifles, rapid fire.
Yeah, but they might just throw it into the origin perk.
Yeah,
they will just globalize it in a way.
Yeah, they've just removed the Vice part from the rapid fire frame, or the Hake precision part of it. It still might be a precision, or Omolon still will be an adaptive weapon.
Okay.
You'll still see that it's an Omolon weapon, but they've just taken the Omolon part out of the name.
Yeah, and it will just be some kind of origin perk in our artifact that enhances this or does this, because they are no longer sunsetting. So if they're not going to sunset weapons, what are they going to do with the perks and all the artifacts that we had?
Yeah. So scout rifles, they've updated the hipfire reticle to better show accuracy and aim assist states. Hand cannons, some aggressive hand cannons struggle to compete with the stats of the top tier. Examples: Igneous Hammer. So with Criminal's Dagger and something new returning in the final shape.
Criminal's Dagger, that's what's coming back. Thank you. Criminal Stagger.
Was that a fan favorite? I've still got one, and it's
If you're
It was for
PvP,
some
I'm
people,
understanding that that's a
Okay.
PvP fan favorite.
okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
I know a friend of mine used to run criminals at the side of the stupid grenade launcher that we mentioned earlier.
Mountaintop.
No,
No.
the exotic
No,
one.
they're both kinetic.
In Lion.
Oh, the nanoite one.
Fight. Yeah, Fighting Lion.
Fighting Lion. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
I remember that. Criminal Stagger and
Good.
Fighting Lion.
Yeah.
So Criminal Stagger and something new, the Solace hand cannon, are both aggressive frame hand cannons. That's 120 RPM. So they're going to be changing the stability on the Criminals from 23 to 31, handling from 23 to 31, the magazine size from 8 to 9, and the airborne effectiveness from 10 to 21. Something new, which is the Solstice one, from 27 to 30, handling 24 to 30, and magazine from 8 to 9. But the something new also has the origin perks as well. I'm guessing that the Criminal Stagger will also get some of the Iron Banner weapon like origin perks as well that they currently don't have. So you can have things like Skulking Wolf on there. So that while at low health, Guardian final blows with this weapon grant enhanced radar and remove you from the opposing radar. I don't know if they'll add anything else on there because it is a kinetic, as far as I remember. Yeah, it is kinetic.
I love
Demon.
how Igneous Hammer wasn't nasty enough as a 120 hand cannon, and like I didn't get killed with it enough in PvP. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some more 120 hand cannons in there for you to get slapped about in PvP by.
Yeah.
Now you're
So
getting
that
it.
even more people can take you home, put you over their knee, and give you a damn good.
Yeah, but
body.
there's a big
Hey,
difference
say
there,
something.
though, because that Criminal's Dagger hits so much harder than the Trials weapon.
Even though they're the same
Yeah.
kind of archetype of
Yeah.
hand
I
cannon.
know, but
Yeah.
it's so much worse. There's such a difference, even with the
Yep.
staggering and just whoa.
Yeah,
What's
it's
staggering?
horrible.
I've heard that word. I haven't seen it in game yet.
That's what happens to you and never happens to your opposing opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds accurate. Yeah, I agree.
So the something new hand cannon has got the origin trait of dream work. So once per reload, assist or assisted final blow, it partially refills the magazine from reserves and potentially overflows the magazine. So it will have that back on there. So just thought I'd point that out. Low inventory sniper rifles were a little too low in PvE for their liking, so they've increased the minimum reserves from 14 to 17 shots, and the maximum reserves is unchanged. Linear fusion rifles. So this is where they changed the name of it. The adaptive burst linear fusion rifles are strong, but in some cases are quite hard to control. So they've reduced the firing animation, kick, and recoil for adaptive linear fusion rifles. Waveframe grenade launchers. They deal competitive damage as of the Destiny 2 Into the Light update, but some stats on these didn't have a gameplay effect. In this pass, they're adjusting the blast radius. So the size of the wave is now affected by the blast radius stat. This will most definitely impact the width, and the wave length and height will also be scaled. So the default display stat for blast radius has been changed from 100 down to 50, so that 50 represents the previous baseline, and any stat over 50 will result in a larger wave segment than was possible before. So the heavy wave frames are the dimensional. I know Peroty referred to it as the hippogriff or dimensional hippo grenade launcher, but it's a dimensional hypotricord and the hullabaloo. So they're the heavy wave frames. The special ammo wave frame grenade launchers overperform as a clear weapon in their current state. So they've pulled the length of the wave back a little. So they've reduced the length of the wave from 22 meters to 15, except for Dead Messenger because that's exotic. And these are.
Oh, that's a little bit. That's 7 meters.
That is, yeah. But this is
That's
only
a
for the
third.
special ones.
Yeah, but that's
This is
a
only
third.
but they are special and they are doing really well. So Forbearance,
That's still a third.
Tusker the Boar, Deafening Whisper, Explosive Personality, as kind of for reference. Anybody kind of interested?
A third isn't a little bit.
Look, they've said that it's doing too well now, and it'll do even better in final shape. So they've got to change it.
Just
That's
means
not a
you have
little
to throw in a grenade once in a while in that combination, though, Noble.
Third's not a little bit.
Swords? Are you upset about swords? Because they've updated the sword reticle to better indicate its charged state. So when sword energy is consumed, the amount of delay with the sword has before it begins to recharge now substantially appears in the reticle. And they fixed a bug where the overwhelming battle song debuff from some missions would prevent the sword from recharging or losing energy while guarding. And they fixed an issue where unpowered caster sword heavy attacks would not reset the sword's energy recharge delay. And they fixed an issue where the uncharged adaptive sword heavy attack costs the same amount as their charged counterpart. They now cost 1 ammo as the same as the other uncharged heavy attacks. Are you happy about swords? Do you care about swords?
No.
Unless you're a stronghold titan like me.
I was going to say, that build works.
It definitely works.
Bro, I'm trying to tell people about that build. They're all like, "Oh, you're a hunter. What do you know?" It's like, bruh.
It pisses people off if you just block and stand in front of a boss.
By it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you saying, "Oh, you're a hunter. What do you know?" is kind of an immature way to look at invincibility. You know, I'm just saying.
I did Crota a couple of I did Crota a couple of weeks ago with Demon. It's a few weeks ago now, actually. And I will admit, for the first run of actual Crota that we did when I was watching him, I was like, "Hold on, that's
pretty
really,
broken,
really effective. That's insane."
No,
and then I realised that
it's a bully build. Don't call it broken.
It's broken. And then I was like,
in PvE,
hold on,
that
wait
is
a minute.
very
I've actually
broken
missed
thing.
what I was meant to be doing. So I've no longer got a sword. What's going on? Where am I? Oh, wait a minute. I've just caused a wipe. Oh, that is definitely broken.
I took that build. Initially, I took the Pyrogal gauntlets into the 0 hour. I was trying to do it solo, and I thought, I remember where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. And I thought, those enemies were tanky back then. They're not going to be tanky now, but they were still tanky even on normal. And I came out of that first kind of like pipe and went into that area with all the arc kind of like things flying around, and I died instantly several times before I kind of even got to the main courtyard. I was like, I thought I was this Pyrogal con of gauntlets, slamming the ground and hitting with the punch, would keep me alive if I stand in the sunspot. I was like, oh god, and I got to the end, had to redo it again because I didn't kill the boss, and I thought I'm going to take my strongholds. I was through that part in less than a minute. I was like, I'm just going to melee you, and then I get my overshield, and I get my strand banner of war, and then I can kind of melee somebody with the sword or hit them with the sword, and I get the chain reaction explosions all over the place. And I think I had with the horde on there as well, and I was through that bit, and I was still didn't manage to do it because even though I was unkillable in the boss room, it's like Respawn says, if I had time,
you can't get kills.
Yeah. I can, but very slowly. And because it's a timed mission, it's like, that's my downfall. I need something that will kind of, I could do faster. I did see a really cool video, which I'll include in the show notes, of somebody doing it on
what you could
Legend.
do is you could get the boss's attention, since he does kind of nutty damage once he actually hits you. And then your two partners can,
No, I was soloing. I was soloing it.
Well, maybe we should run a 0 hour.
Maybe we should. But anyway, I was just saying that Invincible Titan build got me through that very easily, kind of just walking up, meleeing something, and kind of using the sword with like chain reaction on there and getting all the explosions and things. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But anyway.
Oh, you're okay.
I just used Fallen Sunstar and Risk Runner. And you know what? Risk Runner was still fantastic in there.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. And the Fallen Sunstar mixed in with it on the Warlock was just...
Does that mean does that mean that Trevor kills you with arc damage? The first runner will keep you alive?
No.
I actually didn't get killed by Trevor on the first run through. He didn't get me.
I almost made it to the end before he surprised me. What's that?
Once. He got me once on the first run through, and then about 4 times in the next run through. I was like, really? We were friends.
Yeah. That's what you thought. Trevor's friends with nobody.
And I hate it when like Trevor goes down the hallway and sometimes he'll turn the corner and keep going. You're like, oh, okay, I'm safe to run through. But like sometimes he's like, no, I'm actually turning around and coming back to you. And you're like, oh no.
That's the game of peekaboo.
Oh no. Why didn't you turn, Trevor? What are you doing?
And I know I suggested it last week when submitting your kind of videos, maybe kind of getting over him to kind of sitting on top of him. But there is a kind of roof to that. I did look up, and there is a roof. You can't kind of strand up to the top. But I did see somebody strand to the back of him and kind of ride him like a skateboard, like Back to the Future
funny.
style.
Yeah, but what if you run into the back of it?
I was going to say,
you go
just
really
that.
fast. Yeah, he pulls you so far. He goes so fast, you kind of end up in the back of him anyway. So yeah, I did see somebody with that video. That was quite funny. But getting back to PvE exotics that are going to be nerfed, let's talk about divinity.
Divinity.
So divinity's
Wait,
ability
what?
to bypass combatants' gameplays by generating a weak spot called the cage internally. Well, we call it a cage.
Oh,
It's not
take
just
more shots to
internally.
activate it. Yeah. That
Yes.
sucks.
And
they took away the feathering on top.
No,
of
no,
that,
no,
too.
they're not. No.
They're
And
not?
it's got high uptime, and particularly with the trigger feathering. So that's when you kind of just tap it, and it still generates the cage, but you're kind of not using as much ammo to keep the cage up. So they're not changing how effective the cage is or how the feathering works, but they are increasing how long it takes to generate the cage, which will make it less ammo efficient and less useful against targets that break aim frequently. So you can still use it, but it just takes a while to kind of proc it to get the cage up. Increase the number of shots required to generate the cage by 75% against combatants. PvP is unchanged.
I do love this bit where it says, right, that we're going to make it less ammo efficient and less useful against targets that break aim frequently. Nice one. So the ones that move, that you could really do with Divinity against, because it's not just a stagnant boss that's going to stand still and let you shoot it in the face, we're going to make Divinity less useful against.
Do people use this on Rolk? Is he a boss that you can kind of use this on to help?
No.
Okay.
No, because you have to shoot his shoulders and his chest specifically.
He's
and
a
then
bit like
after that, you can use Divinity, sure, but initially you have to pop his crit spots. And yeah.
I think you're thinking of Nezarek. I'm talking about the one that walks around and kicks you.
Yeah,
Rolk.
me too.
Yeah, still got to break his arms. And,
well, he eats himself off these days.
Yeah.
True. But he comes back immediately, so he doesn't kill himself for good, unfortunately.
But how are you guys feeling about this as kind of PvE mains? And
I mean, Divinity, every time Divinity gets a nerf, it's painful because it's still a really good thing to use, especially like in King's Fall.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's King's Fall. We have the 3 pillars and the plates, and you got to activate the pillars in order. I think it's King's Fall.
Anyway. For the War Priest.
Yes, that guy, right?
Yes.
So it's especially good for him because it's hard to get crits on him because his head bobs so much, and also not Shirochi, but the first encounter where you can stagnate the boss so she can't teleport away. Before that became a thing, you'd put the cage on her and hit snipes with her because crit shots on her do extra crit damage, right? So for instances like that, Divinity is really, really good. And then in general, bosses that aren't like Rolk or Nezarek, where you have to pop specific parts, it's always good to have that crit cage. So making it harder to proc and harder to maintain is definitely going to affect some in-game PvP stuff, for sure.
I actually don't mind the Divinity nerf. I really don't.
Well, we will find a way to work around it or maybe do something else with a different weapon.
You know what,
For
man?
sure.
That is the biggest thing with all of this, right? Every season, we get nerfs, we get buffs, we get cries, we get, oh, that's my favourite weapon.
We get cries.
Yeah, because we get, oh, that's my favourite weapon, why are you doing that?
Very true.
Right? So we get cries.
Like I'm being attacked? What the hell?
I feel like I'm attacking everybody, including myself right now. But at the end of the day, we always find a new weapon that we really love.
Very true, but look at when the Anarchy got nerfed to the ground compared to how we were using it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was so pissed about the whole fact that weapon wasn't viable anymore to do end game.
Yeah, I'm still sore about that.
But everybody was mad, and eventually someone, even if it was a YouTuber or a influencer or whatever it is, they will find something, and everybody will like, okay, that's better than that. Let's jump to that wagon, and then that one is going to get nerfed, and then they're going to go back to that one.
We have to is the problem. We have to find a way around it. I liked how the Anarchy worked. Right, it was a fun gun to use. Not only was it good DPS, it was a fun gun to use.
It was
Having
very
something
unique.
that's good for DPS and is fun to use is a bonus. And when you have to find another grenade launcher, like the prosecutor,
Yeah.
Prospector.
Prospector, that one. That was another exotic, and it was really good for DPS too, but it was nowhere near as fun to use as the Anarchy. You know what I mean?
Okay, I've got a question for you guys though. Do you think the reason why Divinity's getting this kind of nerf is because of what's to come in the final shape? Is this using Divinity with these nerfs that they're kind of listing now? Is that going to affect anything that's kind of gone beforehand? So even if it now takes a little bit more time to proc the cage on bosses that you've got in like Crota's End, or you've got in Kingsfall, or if you've got in Root of Nightmares, with our damage or the powerfulness of the Guardian now, and then we're going to be more powerful, but these raids and these dungeons that are now aren't going to be kind of coming up in the power scaling is different, isn't it? So the new stuff gets the kind of the power scaling, whereas this kind of stuff gets left behind. So we will be overpowered in these raids and dungeons. So it won't necessarily affect what's available.
You're talking about
now.
like because of prismatic or whatever?
Well, anything really. I mean, I don't know what's kind of for certain what's going to come in the final shape that is going to affect it. But what I'm saying, is it going to affect us being overpowered Guardians?
No.
I mean, you can walk into Vault of Glass and decimate the Vault of Glass, can you? At the moment, do you need a Divinity?
No.
Don't need to. It
makes it easier. If you want to one phase the boss,
but you can still use it and probably one phase the boss, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
No, I doubt it. No, I doubt it, and I'll tell you why. Because in order for you to one phase the boss, right, you have to pump damage in as quickly as possible, right? And if you have to take longer to ramp up that cage, and you can't maintain the cage because they've removed the feathering aspect, you're not going to be able to.
They haven't removed feathering.
Okay, I'm sorry, but it's still going to take you longer to ramp up the damage?
Yes. But what I'm saying is,
for example,
what?
What I'm saying is that we are going to be more powerful than we are now in the final shape. So is it necessarily going to have a bad effect on stuff that we currently
You're assuming we're going to be more powerful. Our light level is going to be higher.
We are. We definitely are. Maybe not in the beginning because you have to learn on how the new things work with the abilities and stuff. But for example, if you put the Divinity on a boss that you usually just hold the trigger and have that crit box up, we're getting a new weapon that's going to be a compact golden gun.
Yeah.
So once that crit spot is open and ready to go, everyone can pull that weapon from the rest of the team. And if you're a hunter, you can pull out a normal golden gun after it. So it's probably going to do more damage eventually, but you just have to do it in a different way.
I'm not seeing downside, brother.
Okay, for example, I'll give you an example here. So currently, if you solo like the Ghost of the Deep, or I can't remember the name of the latest dungeon. Do you guys remember?
The Warlord's Ruin.
Warlord's Ruin. They're quite hard to do, aren't they? Even if you're trying to do it solo on like.
I still don't even have that exotic. Wait, hold on. They're hard to do even if you're doing it solo?
Yes.
That seems like a term to use, especially when you're doing it solo.
Okay, especially when you're doing it solo. But there are achievements for doing these things solo. But if you go and do the Shattered Throne, or you do one of the older dungeons, it's a lot easier to do it as a Guardian now than it was back then. This is what I'm saying about the power scaling. And then
we do have a power creep, yes. But at the same time, people are putting a lot of faith in this prismatic, right?
No, I'm just saying in general, we're going to be more powerful. So the old dungeons and the old raids that people are kind of got in their heads at the moment that they use the Divinity on and things like that, we're going to be more powerful than we currently are now in those raids in the future. So it might not necessarily affect us doing those raids and dungeons in the future, but you'll probably find out a different way to kind of do the encounters in the new raids and dungeons coming up that might not necessarily need the Divinity, or if you do use the Divinity, there is a usage for it. Is what I'm saying.
Unless they're going to come out with another weapon that's going to just out DPS. Like for right now, Golgoroth is a good example, right? The cage ain't going to do anything to Golgoroth. You need to hit him in his little white light, right? So now the popular thing to use is the Thunderlord, and we've changed a lot of people's minds. They're like, Thunderlord? Nah, bro, that's the wrong intonation, right? And then like me and Mike are breaking 6 million, and everybody else is like sitting at 4 million. They're like, what the hell are y'all using? Thunderlord, like we told you, you know? So if a gun like that comes out, or if a gun like Thunderlord can maintain its damage, then yeah, you don't need divinity when it comes to something like that. But I mean, you're making a big assumption like, oh, by default, we're going to be more powerful. I want to believe that, and I think you might be right. But until we're there, we don't know. But what I can see is that if they're going to be doing this to the divinity, barring everything else that we don't know, at a minimum, that is a big nerf. You know, you're probably right. We might be more powerful, but we don't know that. You know.
I've been thinking about this for a little while since I was chatting with Moira in the Discord about it. I've been thinking about this for a little while. Like, I think one of the best things that they could have done to Divinity, if they wanted to change the way Divinity worked or give it a slight nerf, etc., I think the best way they could have done it is, instead of immediately giving you a big cage, have the cage grow the longer it was fired.
Like the
like a build up.
Yeah,
like Prometheus lens kind of.
Prometheus lens, yeah.
So have it start off as a small, a small crit spot, so like it was on a Vex or something like that, and then have it grow into the cage that it is that we all know.
I see.
Yeah.
So you still maintain the same crit, but your crit would just get larger over time, meaning the crit area would get larger over time.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can see that. Yeah,
but with that,
but that's not what happened though. So
no, it's not. But I'm saying
that's a good idea though. I like it.
What's from stopping people using 6 Prometheus lenses and just burning down whatever kind of boss it is? Because the longer,
right?
No, but does it not stack? Does it not work individually?
No, and even then, the Prometheus lens, the bubble damages things around it, but you don't do extra damage to the boss itself.
Yeah,
you know that, right? You add scorch stacks, which can ignite, but as far as like the Prometheus lens bubble, that bubble doesn't do more damage to the boss the bigger it gets. It just makes their area of effect that you can hurt things larger. Unless I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But I'm
okay. No, I was thinking about the wrong thing.
Right.
I was thinking about the wrong thing. Cold Heart. So the weapon shoots a steady cold fusion powered arc laser, dealing more damage the longer it remains on target. So if you imagine having like a couple of warlocks with the this is centrifuge Cenotaph mask with would that not do more damage than using divinity?
I don't know what Cenotaph mask does. I can't answer that.
Eventually, it might with all the nerves.
Warwick kind of for the warlocks.
Oh, for the trace rifles.
For the trace rifles, yeah.
Well, with the nerves that are coming, the Cold Heart might be a better choice then. With all that's going on.
Yeah, no, Cold Heart is still good, and it's not the best DPS dealer because you are using an exotic slot for that, right?
Or you've got
and if you're going to use an exotic slot, you can use
fluctuating damage.
But still, no, for the fluctuating damage, that really only pays off if you've picked up some orbs of power, and for 6 seconds it does like max damage. So if you like have orbs lying around, you can pick up an orb of power and just kind of keep that damage going. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. But at the same time, no trace rifle is going to out DPS an exotic heavy in the same slot like the Whisper or the Thunderlord or, name one. So you're sacrificing an exotic slot. Is it fun to use? Yeah. Is it going to be the best DPS option? Not for a long time now, So I like where you're going with it, but it's impractical in our current system.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Don't do that much damage.
Different options. That's all.
Yeah, I got you.
But hunters rejoice because the Rat King's firing animation makes the weapon harder to control at higher rates of fire. So they've updated it and swapped the firing animation to the same one that used by other auto-firing sidearms. So
nice. It do be jumping. For real.
And Devil's Ruin could be made to apply its firing animation to other equipped sidearms. So they fixed an issue where the firing animation from Devil's Ruin would get applied to other equipped sidearms if the weapon was swapped during the firing animation. So no longer...
What? Other equipped side? What does that mean?
If you had a sidearm
But
equipped.
does the secondary sidearm where you swap to do the same damage?
I don't know. They just fixed an issue with the firing animation.
It's just an animation. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, which animation are they talking about? Devil's Ruins is the one with the linear fusion on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to say that when you pop the linear, you can pull out a different sidearm, and now that sidearm has the linear?
At least the animation it had, apparently.
Maybe. Yeah. Symmetry needed a little attention because particularly its reload speed and handling.
Nobody uses it outside PvP?
That as well. So they've taken this opportunity to increase those via the catalyst. So the catalyst now provides plus 10 reload, 10 handling, and the eddy current perk in addition to its existing effects. And Galahorn. We all thought the Galahorn's arc projectiles kind of Wolfpack rounds were arc, but apparently not. So, or they're not going to be. So they've updated the visuals of the Wolfpack rounds to match the damage type of the weapon. So, for example, on Galahorn, they will use solar effects. And on things like Royal Entry, which is a Void Rocket Launcher, buffed by Galahorn. So that's the perk that you could have if you have a legendary and somebody in your fire team has Galahorn. They will show you with Void effects on the Royal Entry. That's worth it. It didn't really matter, did it? Were you guys affected by this? Did it give you PTSD at night?
No, it did damage, and that's the most important.
Yeah. As long as it did what it said on the tin.
If it's blue, green, purple, red, I don't care. DPS is DPS.
How many of us actually realized what color it was? Because I didn't realize it was any kind of color.
That always went round was that Galahorn fired out was solar, but the Wolfpack rounds always came out as kind of arc damage.
I didn't know that.
But maybe they still are arc damage, but it says that they'll be showing solar effects.
Mayhaps.
Yeah. Anyway, Touch of Malice's burn from Darkness Ball didn't last long enough to be useful in PvE. So they've increased the duration of the burn applied by the Darkness Ball against combatants from 2 to 3.5 seconds.
Darkness Ball? What Darkness Ball? For what?
See, when you charge it up, isn't that the...
Charge what? What are you talking about?
Touch of Malice.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
You can fire the Blight Ball out, can't you?
Yeah, and then you shoot the ball and it does extra damage on top
there you go.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Posture Trigger made it too easy to spread poison across the whole encounter from a couple of kills of weak combatants.
No.
Now it's going to be receiving a 4-second cooldown on poison burst on kill. So poison burst from sustained damage doesn't receive this cooldown. So
that sucks.
As long as you're sustaining your damage.
All right. It's going to get better, Respawn.
Well, I mean, no, the reason I'm upsetting Spaghetti about that is because I use that. That is my only Warlock build. Legit. Right?
No, you can still use it.
Fine. It's going to get better in a second.
Oh.
Okay, sure.
Should we check? Is it this next line? Necrochasm's add clear roll wasn't as strong as we'd like, so we've buffed it and replaced the outlaw perk of the catalyst with a new custom perk that leans into this roll. So intrinsic perk now provides increased reload speed after precision kills, increase the duration of the burn applied by the cursed thrall explosion against combatants from 2 to 3.5 seconds, and its catalyst has also been rebuilt, one for thrall. Damaging 3 combatants in quick succession provides a period of increased damage, range, and aim assist.
Now, because this is a not a drudgeon weapon, weapon of sorrow. Sorrow, yeah.
Is it sorrow?
Doesn't it work with the gloves, necrotic grips, to spread poison?
Yeah.
It does. Even though the gun itself says nothing about poison, it will still poison on kill if you have necrotic grips?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I've heard that. That's why all weapons of sorrow are supposed to, but I wanted to verify. Yeah.
So that's cheered him up, Noble, then?
Should do.
I'm going to try it.
So Lament. The Lament sword damage is roughly equivalent to other swords. The healing on hit is largely removed the intended downside of using swords for bosses DPS. And the chaining heavy attacks was too strong. So they've reduced the healing effects by 20%. And whilst this weapon does inherently get a 7% global buff to swords, they've reduced the damage of the high end of the chaining heavy attack by 20% from that point. This means that combos at lower stacks are less effective by the chains that combo at high stacks. So that's when you do like light, heavy, or light, heavy kind of attacks, yeah?
No idea.
Okay, good. Good chat.
No,
there.
it's the 2 light, 1 heavy, 2 light, 1 heavy, 2 light, 1 heavy. But I mean, whatever. I think this is a stupid nerf.
It gave too much healing. I don't use that one in my sword build, but I suppose I could probably use it in my sword build if I
Nobody
want to
uses
take
it
down
for the
monsters.
healing anyway. You
Well, I
know.
might want to.
Well, I mean,
Everybody protected it for the overshield and being a bit invincible.
and no, we just used it for damage. It was good for damage. It's good for anti-barrier, but it was never like a DPS choice. I mean,
Personally,
not a
think it
DPS, a healing
sucked.
choice is what I meant to say. It is a DPS choice. It's not a healing choice. You know.
Personally, I think it sucks.
That's what a who?
I think it sucks. I hate it.
Well,
What,
I
the
mean, it's
change
good
or
for
the weapon?
anti-barrier.
The weapon.
Okay.
What really? Interesting.
Yeah. The amount of people when you go to do Crota that are always like, "Oh, you need to use Lament because it's the best damage on Crota." It's like it absolutely isn't.
No,
Yeah,
we used
actually, no, I've
something
been in
else when we
groups with
did
that.
Crota.
Yeah.
What did we use for Crota? We used like a legendary sword.
Yeah, the bequest.
Well, as a
Yes,
hunter,
that
you've
one.
got two options. Like you can use Bequest. Bequest is one of the better ones. But if you've got a craftable Quick Fang,
I don't. I'm a hunter
Well-
and I don't have quick feint. I know.
well, you need
I
to go
know.
get that before they take it away from you.
I
Yeah.
don't even
if
know.
you-
I don't even remember how, honestly.
Go and
Go
do
to the
one of the
helm.
seasons. Yeah, it's
You
one of
go
the.
to the helm and it's in the one
Is it
directly
Season
in
of the
front of
Witch?
you when you spawn in.
Oh no, is it the
The war
battleground?
table?
Yeah. And it's in one of those, and you can get either the
Yeah,
shotgun or the sword.
All right.
Yes, you
But it's
can.
not
Yes, because
craftable
I've
though,
been getting the
right?
Titan sword. It
Yes.
is craftable. So you go there. You've probably built up so many engrams. Go there and just pop the engrams
I
on
also
your
just
hunter.
I burned like 100 of them. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
it will give if you just pop.
Helm.
Is it you go to?
Remember, you're on your warlock as well. Respawn.
I know.
before
I'm
you
just
go
looking to see where to go to do it at and how many.
I think it's the
engrams I have.
battlegrounds, which is like you said, you walk straight along in the
there. Yeah,
helm.
it's that one
go-
straight in front of you. When
Straight
you
to the
spawn
front?
point.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
there's
so you can look
three.
at your spawn point and just walk straight forward.
There's 3 different swords that you can get that are craftable. So the Titan one, the Warlock one, and the Hunter one. So you'd have to make sure you're on the right class to do it. And
Yeah,
I
no, I
believe
knew that.
it's in the opulent weapon set because there are the weapons that you get, which were the pink and blue weapons that from that season, and then you had the opulent weapons that had come back, and it's in that weapon set. And yeah, shotgun, sword, and something else. I can't remember what the other something else
It's
was.
just shotgun and sword, isn't it?
Is it?
Also, did anybody clip that? Hey, Respawn, don't forget you're on your warlock. Yeah, that never happens.
So yeah, I've got to make sure I do that because Eve, you
yeah.
can also get a guaranteed red border for a weapon that you don't have if you go and do a seasonal event each day
I don't see
for
any
those
weapons.
different things.
What am I missing here? So I'm at the straight back, like you said,
Yeah,
Right, so you see the focus decoded, the one that's sort
up
of
here.
no,
there's 2 engrams, isn't there?
Yeah, Defiant and
yeah. So right, so the
Viable.
top load, you focus decoded. You see
This one.
no, the one that you were just on.
The
That
one
one,
that's opulent, doesn't it?
recovered Leviathan weapons.
There you go.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I got to swap to 100 and do that. All right, cool.
Yeah, so you can get your
That's fine.
Imperial Decree shotgun or sword corresponding to your class.
I don't care about
And that
Imperial.
quick fang, that's better damage than Lament on Crota.
Because
There
it
you go.
attacks faster. Is that why?
Yeah, it's a faster for hunters anyway, isn't it? They're
I know
faster.
it is faster. I'm asking, does it do better damage because it's faster, or is there a role I should be looking for, or both?
I do believe there's a specific role. I don't have one crafted because I just use Bequest all the time.
Sure.
But I mean, I can look for you.
I'm looking
You
right
look
now.
for him and then DM him the
Yeah.
deeds. Who was upset and who rejoiced when Dead Man's Tale, the rapid fire scout rifle, got nerfed, then buffed, then nerfed, then nerfed, then nerfed, and now isn't fulfilling the fantasy as Bungie intended. So they've bumped it up again with the rate of fire and added a bit of stability to the cranial spike to make it easier to control. And at the same point, its strength is a little skewed with a little high on the mouse and keyboard and a little lower on controller. So they've tuned the accuracy and magnetism, controller reticle friction, to address this. So for baseline, the cranial spike stacks now grant stability in addition to aim assist stat and range, +2 per stack. They've increased the reload speed benefit of cranial spike stacks. And with the catalyst, when hip firing, slightly reduced accuracy benefits.
I got a gold tusk, not a quick fade. Are you sure?
Maybe it's Gold Tusk then.
Oh, because it's the Leviathan one. So if you look at it, it is Quick Fang. It's just that they rebranded it, didn't they?
Yes.
For what's its face?
Gotcha.
Yeah, for the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Increased magnetism fall off scale from 1.6 to 1.7. Increased the baseline rate of fire from 130 RPM to 140. So they've put it back up. And removed the PvE only damage buff that's scaled with the stacks of Cranial Spike and added 15% damage bonus at maximum stacks of Cranial Spike. So again, this is all buffs in PvE, not PvP, even though it was used a lot in PvP. So, Colony. The fantasy of spawning self-replicating insecticide robots is something they've always wanted to use for a while now. And this update allows the colony to deal with waves of combatants in a unique way. There now spawns additional insecticide robots on final blows. More robots, up to 5, spawn from tougher combatants. Are we happy about that one? Are we going to be using it as an ad
I am definitely,
kind of
at a
heavy?
minimum, I'm going to be testing it because that sounds amazing.
Yeah, but do you use Colony, or would you use Colony as an ad clearing?
Hell yeah!
As an ad clearing heavy?
Well, I mean, it is fun.
Yeah, no, I'm not
depending on the activity, I guess.
It depends upon what you're doing. I mean, would I take it into Onslaught right now to try and have a bit of fun with it on a void build because it's a void heavy, so running Geofalcons with that could be fun. Could be even more fun than it already sounds like it could be.
But
would I take it into a raid? Hell no.
Well, not for funsies.
Nope.
Okay. Donny, are you all about the funsies though?
Why not? Let's try it out.
For the
What if there's a lot of ads around a boss, and then you fire it off, and it keeps spawning the spider bots, and then when there's nothing left to kill, they all go for the boss.
Yeah.
Are
but
there
it's
any
probably
boss phases even like that?
Not going to be that amount of damage.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So we didn't go in there for damage. We went in there for funsies.
Oh yeah, funsies. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Relentless whirlwind. That's what.
So if we were using weapons for funsies, would we pull out the Truth rocket launcher?
No, because it annoys me.
Because Bungie have recognised it's fallen behind other exotic rocket launchers, and this is largely due to the lackluster damage that they wanted to lean in further into the total rocket count. So they've increased the area of effect damage that's such that it doesn't lose its notable damage due to the dealing impact. Yeah, damage due to not dealing impact damage. Yeah, that's right. So they've increased the area of effect damage such that it does not lose notable damage due to not dealing impact damage. They've increased the total reserves by 3, and this is on top of the reserve change to high impact rocket launchers from the 7.3.5 update. Is it going to make it viable? Or is it
do you know where I'm hearing that's going to become seen all the time again?
In
Gambit?
Gambit?
Yes. Because all they've done is increase the area of effect, which means now that when you're running away like a scared little girl because you carry your 15 boats and you don't want the invader to kill you, and you're like, I'm going to hide behind this wall. But it doesn't matter anymore because we've increased its area of effect. So you might be hiding behind a wall.
And I was thinking that was really the only time it was used in its heyday was Gambit. When people were playing a lot of Gambit, like competitive Gambit.
So aggressive.
Yeah. And not just the tracking, but like when people would hide behind the walls, you shot over the wall or next to the wall, and its detonation would kill them anyway. It was super good for Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
But other than Gambit, I don't see any practical use for it, honestly.
I don't think you factored into the fact that nobody plays Gambit apart from Peroty anymore, so it doesn't really matter.
Excuse me. I have
Peroty
been
and Noble. Okay, you're on one team, he's on the other team.
Him to play Gambit recently.
I am joking, but yeah. Queensbreaker. The damage output is outpaced by legendary linear fusion rifles, so they've increased the damage and reserve ammo to compensate. So we broke it, took it away, you couldn't have it, another Gambit weapon, and now they're going to buff it again. So we do see frequent requests to move Queensbreaker to the energy slot, but given the number of special ammo damage outputs in this slot, they've opted to push it further into the heavy slot. So they're working on some functionality changes to this weapon for future update as well. So they've increased the damage.
Yeah, but unless you're increasing the damage like a lot, it still doesn't belong there.
Mini bosses, champions, and vehicles by 12%, and they've increased the reserve ammo by 3.
12%. No, that is not nearly enough for it being in the heavy slot. And you know what? Since we're on the topic, Darcy is another thing that needs to be moved. Actually, right?
I don't
it
even
does
see that
not.
on the list.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So Darcy has never done massive
Even
amounts of
Bungie
damage.
forgot Darcy existed.
They probably did. Now, the only time that Darcy shines is if you have a really long damage phase and you can get off all of the Darcy rounds, because cumulatively, all those rounds will add up to a lot of damage. That part is true. But there's almost no damage phase where you're going to be able to empty all your Darcy rounds out. It's just not possible.
I'm
So
not being
if you
funny.
can't have that much damage, then you need to swap it to a special. Even if you took away like a little bit of the damage to put it in the special slot, it would still be better off in the special slot as, a special weapon than it is as a heavy weapon. Like, bruh.
I can't remember the last time I saw Darcy used for anything other than measuring distance.
But yeah, it was specially requested by Fallout players to be in the game to use as a measuring stick.
It is Darcy tape measure.
Yeah, I think they should just change it to a tape measure in game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
You stand there. I'll just draw it in.
Yo, if there's a skin, even if you don't use Darcy, but just imagine like the entire length of the barrel, you see the hash marks for like a yardstick or whatever, right? Yeah.
Or put a little wheel on the front. Put like the stick and the wheel thing, so you can measure it by meter.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Oh man, that's Bungie. We're available at a price. Just reach out to us. We can
for free. We don't care.
No.
I'm available for a price. I'm not as cheap as you.
Exactly.
I'm free. Get me. I'm free. Don't have these ones.
Mr. Six Kids is very cheap. I'm not.
My God. K4 took us in the shower with him. Ew. Anyway.
Yes.
But yeah. So moving on.
Cerberus +1, a auto rifle shotgun that we all forgot existed.
Bit of a monster.
Yeah. Well, not at the moment. So the focus fire perk.
No. Let's be honest. At close range, it is a monster.
Oh, okay. And at long range, it's going to be a monster as well. So the focus fire perk from the exotic catalyst was limited by its always being available. So they've changed it to only being available following a kill, allowing us to increase its strength. So the focus fire will now activate on a special reload following a kill and will no longer reduce range or rate of fire.
Ooh.
So the range on it...
It's not going to reduce the range. It's not giving it any range, though.
The problem
is... Wait, what?
Because it reduces the range. It turns it into that shotgun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think I've just...
Yeah, but even at max range, though, the pellets, because basically that's what it is, still spread. So at a range, you're only hitting them with like 1 or 2 rounds, and that round does significantly less damage than an auto rifle at the same range. So unless you can reliably hit a target at range with all the bullets, pellets, whatever, then yeah, it's still not good at range. Even if at range you don't have as much damage drop off, you're still not hitting people with all the rounds at range. So unless they correct the spread on this gun, it's still not going to be good at range.
It's like it's basically a shotgun.
That's what I'm saying. It spreads out the further it goes.
If you shoot a pellet shotgun at somebody at 20 feet off 20 meters, whatever Darcy tells you it is, it's pretty useless, isn't it? You know what I mean? And Cerberus works the same way.
Yeah, I mean, if it didn't spread, if the shot package, like if they gave it a shot package like the hexagonal shape that
Falwinter's Lie?
That one, yes. That if they gave it a package like that where they would stay grouped up at max range, then it would be a true exotic, and I think at that point it would probably be unstoppable. Like,
well, I think
the Leicester level.
It might be monster. It might be a monster.
Not if they don't fix the spread, it ain't.
Well, the only use it has now is just to pop Titan bubbles in PvP.
It does that?
Yeah.
No. Really?
Just swap to it, hit the bubble, give it about 4 seconds, the bubble is gone.
That's kind of amazing. Wow, I didn't know that.
Well, it does for now until they change it, and you have to get a kill to activate that.
I see. Well, anybody know where Zerd is right now? I don't want to look all over the place for his ass.
Isn't he in the tree?
Is he in Nessus?
On Nessus.
There you go.
Thank you.
He doesn't have much this week, though.
I'm just looking for the what do you call it? To get to the weapon pattern. I am really blanking today.
If
I've been since
only
like 4 morning.
the Discord that we're all in had a channel called
Deep Side Harmonizer. That thing. Yes.
and in that
Noble.
channel there was a thing.
There's no point in even going down this route. You've heard the show for many years. There's no point of actually saying things like this to him.
Bro, I don't know how to use the Discord.
He
Okay?
turns up to the show just expecting Peroty and I to tell him what's gone on during the week so that he's up to date with everything going. He's not actually here to be the host of the show. He's here to learn.
I can do both. Don't let me meet you a world of ors, sir. I'm here
Do
to be
you
a
turn
host
up
and
and
to
get
learn.
all your information from Peroty and me?
Not always. Sometimes Cross gives it to me.
I was just going to say, I know he's an admin host that was
It's like having his own personal Astacross. Oh, dear. Anyway.
No, but no, it's not like that. Don't be mean.
In a world where Bastion has competition for fusion rifles in the kinetic slot, Bungie felt that it was time to lean further into emulating Saint 14's combat style. So they've reworked Saint's Fist perk. So dealing damage with melee increases your charge rate, damage, and reload speed for a short duration. Landing
Sorry,
majority
Saints
of
what
pellets in a burst increased melee damage. That's going to be good.
It's going to be okay against unstops.
Sorry, no, I didn't hear what you said. I got stuck on the Saints Fist part.
Don't be dirty.
I'm absolutely being dirty.
Honestly,
especially
what
when
a
you look at
child.
his orientation and preferences. No, it's you can't not be dirty. Come on. Oh God. Anyway,
And
what
did
does
you
it,
know?
what does it actually do? I'm sorry.
It basically, if you get a kill, it increases melee damage, and melee damage increases its damage.
Yeah, and that's because it's. I'm just throwing it out there because that's intrinsically got unstop built in as well. Like respawn, that could be like really nice with a 1-2 punch hunter.
No, it definitely could be. No, for sure. I use it whenever I don't have any other unstop options anyway. Like right now, unstop is auto rifle and
pulse rifle.
It's hand cannon.
Pulse rifle, hand cannon. Right, which is easier to use. But like, if it was something stupid like a sniper rifle, I'd absolutely use Bastion in most cases.
Fair enough. Ariana's Vow, the hand cannon special, has fallen behind other anti-barrier special weapons, and as a solo weapon, has the opportunity for a subclass tie-in. So breaking a maximum shield or piercing a champion's barrier will cause the target to ignite. Is this selling you? Are you sold on this?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Does that not play into the anti-barrier kind of thing anyway? If they ignite, that they'll then take tick damage and then they won't be able to regenerate their shields.
It sounds like it would, but it doesn't always work that way.
Okay.
But still, I mean, you're talking about the heavy, right? The heavy machine gun?
No, we're talking about
Ariana's Vow.
Yeah.
Ariana's Vow, yeah. No, because it does something extra on top of also being anti-barrier. So I mean, it's a buff technically. You know, there's
but if you have a season like this one, every sidearm is already anti-barrier. So why use an exotic especially for that?
It's not a sidearm. That's a hand cannon.
Oh, it's the hand cannon. It's true.
Yeah.
But
it's a hand cannon that uses special, so it does. Well, the reason you'd use that to answer your question is not only is it a hand cannon, not a sidearm, but it's a powerful hand cannon. It's a special weapon hand cannon. So after you pop the bubble, you can tag him once, or pop the shield. I'm sorry, tag him once, maybe twice, and he's dead without having to swap to anything else.
Yeah, it is like having a sniper rifle hand cannon, isn't it?
It is, and then if I'm not mistaken, special ammo reserves increases its reserves, and when we used to have hand cannon reserves, that would increase it too, but we don't have that anymore. But yeah, I mean, so it's a lot of rounds, and it's not as special, and it does lots of damage, and it's a hand cannon. So, there's really no downside to it also burning in addition to it popping shields. Now, is it the best exotic? No, absolutely not. But it's still a buff from what it currently does. So yeah, I don't see a problem with it.
Well, deterministic chaos machine gun didn't have
That
a
one
clear
sucks.
niche when it shipped, so they've redesigned it to be anti-champion and weakening powerhouse. So this weapon
Yeah.
now is intrinsically anti-barrier. The heavy metal and vexidecimal perks have their locations and behavior swapped. So the heavy metal now causes every 4th bullet to make the target volatile. The vexidecimal causes every 16th bullet to also weaken the targets. Happy about that? Are we going to be using this in Void builds? Because
No.
everybody's been saying that maybe Void is going to be part of the artifact next season.
No, because with a Void
No.
build, you either want the wave splitter, which is amazing, or if you're gonna use anything, you're gonna want the that combo that I'm always ranting off about with
Repulsor Brace.
that and the other perk that goes with it. Destabilizing routes.
That's the one.
Destabilizing routes, something with repulsor brace and destabilizing routes, right? And lots of heavies come with that. So if you're running a Void build,
But isn't that the
specifically as a
same?
hunter,
Weakening a target and making targets volatile? Or
Yeah,
no,
but
one of them
you
gives you an
don't need the
overshield
weight-
when you
you
get a
don't
kill.
need
Just
the-
yeah. I know what you
yeah,
mean.
and you can double dip into it. It causes you to go invis, causes heals, causes all kinds of stuff, right? But that gun you need 4 rounds first, and then 16 rounds first. Whereas a grenade launcher, you need 1 round.
Yeah, but this one's got
That's a
anti-jam.
legendary grenade launcher at that. So
Yeah,
I'm just
but-
like,
This has got anti-barrier now. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, it's got anti-barrier. Do you not want it?
no.
Go on, let me sell it to you. It's got anti-barrier though.
You know what's a good anti-barrier? Wish Ender.
Wish Ender,
That-
yeah.
Yeah.
This has got anti-barrier.
So does Wish Ender. It's
It's not
amazing.
worth losing an exotic slot for it.
No,
No.
definitely not. And I mean, and unless they increase the damage significantly, then no. Oh, it's anti-barrier. Congratulations. So is a lot
A
of
lot
other
of
things.
other things.
Yeah.
You know, wow. No, it's just not a good trade-off, no matter how you look at it. in my
Okay
opinion.
then, Respawn. How about if I say to you, Borealis, Hardlight, Dead Messenger?
That I do like that. I actually do like that.
What, me just
Well,
saying those names?
no.
No,
If you could
the fact
keep the
that
hard light
when you
out
die,
of that, it would be good.
well, the hard lights, I'm still gun shy because I will never not be mad at what they did to that gun.
Oh, they changed the history. Yeah,
But PTSD memories, no. Just no.
No, I mean it was anyway. But
So-
the gun itself and the guns with that same perk, exotic perk,
fundamentals. Yeah, the
Yeah.
fundamentals.
that's super good for a lot of stuff if they can just bring the weapons to make it worth it. Like every now and again in a Grandmaster, I'll bring that gun in, especially if it's anti-barrier, like an anti-barrier auto rifle or
Yeah.
an overload
Sniper.
auto rifle.
Yeah.
100%, right? Because then it'll pop any of the shields, and on top of that, you got the whole champion thing going on for you as well. So it is super duper good. Now the
They
grenade
are
launcher,
useful.
the waveframe grenade launcher, I was never really a fan of. I still like the fundamentals perk, but I don't think it's a good grenade launcher. Just full stop.
It's good in PvP. It's a good one to use in PvP. I've used it.
I've
with a
never
couple of
been
builds.
killed in PvP by that gun.
I
ever.
really enjoyed Dead Messenger when it first shipped, and we had what do you call that? The damage buff that you could get from. Oh my god! It was an artifact mod, and you got a damage buff if you hit things with a grenade launcher.
I think I think that's why it was
Oh,
good in
this season?
PvP at the time.
Yeah.
This season it's the
No, not this season. I think it was last season.
It might have been, yeah.
But
And it was
Blast
really good then in
radius?
like GMs and stuff like that because you
okay.
But anyway, the fundamentals is the perk where you can kind of change the element damage type, so that if you're fighting against Arc, Void, or Solar Shields, you can.
you've got different shields. And you couldn't take the shields off unless you were using the matching shield type.
Yes, which isn't really a problem these days. But
Yep.
the issue was like if you died or you swapped your weapon, it always then went back to the default, and you were like, "Oh, I've got to go back
You
to
have to
this."
swap again.
Yeah.
So apparently, it now maintains its state across death or respawn. Maybe
Yes,
not
but
like
respawn, you
weapon
can't mess
swapping.
it up anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
no,
may-
that I like about it because especially if you're using, I think it's Void as the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta reload twice to get to that, and then every time you die, you gotta reload twice to get to that.
It wasn't
That's
just that
aggravating.
either. It was whenever you were reviving anybody, it'd do it because you'd be holding square.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I
actually,
forgot
no,
about
that's a
that.
lie for you guys, isn't it? Because obviously PC, Xbox, you'd be holding the reload button.
Yeah, I do remember that now.
It just caused issues.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It did. It did.
Yes, it did.
I mean, it's still gonna have that reload. It's still gonna have that that issue when reviving. So you're gonna have to swap off of the weapon while you're reviving,
Yep.
right?
Bungie will address that in another patch and
Will
another
they?
dev
Never.
insight at some other time.
Will
And they
they?
may actually kind of throw other weapons that we do not know anything about into that as well.
Hold
Oh,
X to doubt.
Okay. So your perks. Some of the perks are getting a change or rework or just integrated or just thrown out the window. So Alacrity, which is gain increased reload stability, aim assist, and range while you're the last living member of your fire team or running solo, is not what they intended to be strong in PvP. So it no longer works in Rumble. Apparently, it works really well in Rumble, and working in solo activities like dungeons and things, yeah, you can still do that, but it's too strong in PvP. You're not allowed to do that anymore. Archer's Gambit was a perk on the Gambit Bow Hush, which was hipfire precision hits grant a massive draw speed bonus for a short duration. This has been brought down a bit so they can use it on other legendary weapons. So with the Hush coming, or you being able to, if you had it already, you can pull it back out your inventory with like the unsunsetting. So also they're going to include it in other weapons. So they've also reduced the draw time buff from 66% to 60%, and they've reduced the buff duration from 8 seconds to 4 seconds, but it can now stack up to 8 seconds.
I like when I see things like this, I imagine Bungie going, "Oh crap, what have we done?" You know, when they said they were going to sunrise weapons, and they're like, "Oh wait, Hush exists. We
No,
need
but
to cut this off of the path."
saying, yeah, but they're saying that they want to use it on other weapons. That's why they're kind of changing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Grave Robber. Melee final blows reload this weapon's magazine from reserves and improve handling. Will now activate on dealing damage with a powerful melee in addition to the standard melee kill. So you don't have to get the kill with a powered melee. It just will activate. And I put this one in there. Rip, a chain reaction for you, Respawn. Each final blow with this weapon creates an elemental damage explosion, improves ammo reserves, and swords have improved guard endurance. So Bungie have recognised this is too strong on special ammo weapons in its current form. So they've branched it between heavy and special ammo weapons and will be shipping it with a new special weapon in the final shape. So specials, about 50% smaller, and the AoE size is 20% less damage. Heavies, same AoE, but as before, and the 30% more damage.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, is it the Tusk of the Boar had it on there? What was the one?
Barbarians.
Forbearance on there as well.
Yeah. So now not only have we lost a third of our travel distance,
but considering how we're getting a buff to the width of the blast radius, it's
On
not
some of
altogether terrible. It's not ideal.
The Rockstar Eddy Current was a little too slow to activate and didn't provide a strong enough bonus, particularly when amplified. And if you're asking,
who is
Eddy Current? This temporarily increases reload speed after sprinting. This effect improves when you are amplified. So that's the people that are using it. Sprinting people.
Who uses it?
Sprinters.
Speedrunners.
Yeah.
What?
Usain Bolt. He uses it.
Speedrunners don't even sprint, the fly.
But it now takes 1.5 seconds of sprinting to activate instead of 3 seconds, and also provides a bonus to handling at a 5% scalar on each stat bonus. Each stat base. Being amplified will immediately activate the perk at its maximum effects. Pull one out for Underdog. Underdog was shelved a long time ago, but they want to swap it out for a more viable perk on weapons that still had it. So any weapon currently with Underdog will be replaced with the Pulse Monitor perk. And Underdog, if you're unfamiliar, because probably nobody's got one, even I haven't got one, I've dismantled a weapon that had Underdog. This weapon gains a bonus to reload speed as your health lowers. So, yeah.
This is a stupid perk.
Yeah, they've acknowledged it's a stupid perk and they've got rid of it. It's no longer a stupid perk.
Agreed.
Pulse monitor is pretty good though. A pulse monitor will reload from your reserves when you
go
get
critical, right?
when you become
Yeah.
critical. So it's quite good on like shotguns and things.
Yep, and critical, for those of you that don't know, our little blueberry listeners, is when you get to red health. It's not when you're one shot or anything like that, like some people say. It's just
It could
when your
still be
health
one
goes into
shot.
the red. Fair, but it means when your health goes red. That's what it means.
And osmosis, using your grenade ability changes this weapon's damage type to match your subclass until you stow it. And permeability, so using your class ability changes this weapon's damage type to match your subclass until you stow the weapon. These have some interesting buildcraft potentials, but all they do is change the damage type, so they don't have enough general utility. And it's also irritating when the perk effects fall off when you don't actually put your weapon away. So these no longer drop off when pulling out a ghost or similar actions, and now partially for the weapon's magazine on activation. So that's a good change for both of those perks, then, don't you think?
But there's a third one that I wish they'd put in there.
Sad, brother.
What's the third one?
The one that is... Why can I not use my brain today? Crown of Sorrows exotic Tarabar. There you go. I wish they'd fix Tarabar so that when you get your ghost out, it doesn't take your stacks on Tarabar.
Yep. Or if you swap your weapon, why?
Yeah, Ravenous Beast goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Ravenous Beast had been in there, I'd have been really happy.
Well, maybe they can deal with that in the next patch. Chill clip. Direct hits with the top half of the magazine cause a detonation that slows nearby targets.
That's amazing.
The previous chill clip change hurt slow rate of fire weapons disproportionately and left rapid fire fusion rifles as the clear best option. So they've branched the functionality to account for this. They've adjusted the number of slow stacks applied based on the properties of the weapon. So in this case, rapid fire fusion rifles like Riptide will still require 3 shots to freeze, but slower firing fusion rifles will only require 2. Other archetypes
or you can
have
get a breech-loaded grenade launcher that's got blinding nades, chill clip, and auto reloading, which is amazing.
Yeah. All other archetypes have been unnerfed and only require 2 shots to freeze. So yeah, chill clip is going to be a good one in PvP, I think.
Good in PvE.
Yeah, I was going to say it's being used a lot in PvE.
Chill clip, like one of the reasons that people were running Riptide, etc., in PvE was the fact that that you could fire 2 shots and you'd freeze your enemy, which would mess up your champions.
Okay.
Because obviously the freeze and shatter.
Actually, the overloads.
That's good to know.
I just like it with the auto loading and the one shot. Honestly, with the blinding nades.
Yeah.
They don't need to be frozen if they're blind.
What about taking high ground, like Obi-Wan? So gaining bonus damage when attacking targets from higher ground. They should have just called it Obi-Wan, shouldn't they? They should have just done a nod and gone Obi-Wan. That's the name of it. And people have gone.
Pretty sure that might be copyrighted.
Yeah. No, they could have just called it O, B, and then a 1. We'd have all known.
Yeah, but so would have Disney.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Disney could do anything if they did it.
OB-1 then. OB-1, yeah. So come on. Anyway, high ground's functionality wasn't delivering on the concept strongly enough, so they've granted it better baseline functionality whilst retaining its fantasy. So they've reworked to provide a stacking damage bonus when getting kills in any context, like Rampage, or instantly granting a maximum amount of stacks when damaging an enemy from higher ground. So the PvE max bonus increased to 25% damage bonus, and PvP max increased to 15%. Killing Tally. Kills increase this weapon's damage until it is stowed or reloaded. The Killing Tally perk was originally on the 21% Delirium machine gun and has been updated to match the versions found on random rolled weapons. Perks that currently match your equipped subclass have been changed as follows. So Osmosis and Tessellation now match the damage type of your equipped grenade. Permeability and Elemental Capacitor now match the damage type of your equipped Soaper. Deconstruction has a variety of issues that cropped up when it started to appear on AoE weapons. It has been updated to address the bugs and prevent exploiting ammo generation. And it now refills from reserves instead of from thin air and should trigger more reliably across all weapon types. So that's the nerf to deconstruction that we don't like.
Well, I mean, in general, we're not really fans of nerfs anyway.
That's it. Now match the damage type of your equipped super. That they all fall into the same thing because you know, as it stands at the moment, you've got a void super on, you've got a void grenade.
What are you talking about?
That prismatic that's coming
Osmosis and Tessellation now match
Yeah.
the damage type of your equipped grenade. Permeability and elemental capacitor now match the damage type of your equipped super.
Yeah.
They tie into the same thing as it stands at the moment. And for a minute, when I was listening to you, I was like, "Well, that's all the same thing."
Yeah, prismatic. Yeah, that's
And
a good
it
thing to point out. Yeah,
hurt my brain. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, prismatic." that's a change. Getting ready for a change.
Yes, change, getting ready for a change, and the deconstruction is also a change, getting ready for the change. I like the fact that it kind of just filled from nowhere, but also with the amount of special when you are playing like Onslaught that drops that you don't need to pick up if you've got a deconstruction kind of weapon, like if you're like the Tusk of the Boar. It's kind of I don't think it's going to have any downside really, because if there's ammo on the floor to pick up and you're just kind of using your ammo from reserves rather than thin air, then that's going to be all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I don't see an issue with that. Someone's going to find an issue with that, but I don't see an issue with that.
We might find issue with what they've got planned for the future. They're largely happy with weapon damage in PvP, and they're going to be moving to the more PvP specific tuning out of the game modes into the weapon based tuning in future. So this will give us the ability to fine tune damage per weapon subfamily on precision hand cannons instead of all hand cannons. And they've also got some big system changes that they're currently working for future releases, including redesigning PvP and PvE ammo economies, introducing more player choice into weapon mods and more weapon types. And that's it for their breakdown. Is there anything you guys want to kind of discuss from all of that we've kind of gone through, that you've kind of had a thought about and gone, oh, you know what, I like this, don't like this, or just had any kind of general thought about it? Not you. You talk loads of stuff. I meant our guests.
We have guests.
PvE ammo economy definitely needs to be a change. That is. I know that's there right now.
You're getting too much or not enough?
In certain places, there is just not enough ammo dropping.
Well, that's why you have finders on there, brother.
Yeah, but even then, trust me, even then, it's a lack of ammo sometimes.
Yeah, we were doing the Pantheon, and we were all rocking finders and scouts, and for heavy, there wasn't a heavy brick like the entire caretaker instance. Not one.
I get that a lot in Warlord's Ruin at the end. Never get heavy drops. And you know what the worst thing is? The way the current ammo economy works is if you use a heavy ammo finder, it resets your timer. So if you were to be using a rocket using a heavy ammo finder, and you get a fake heavy ammo brick, as I call them, because it's not a full brick, it's a partial brick.
Like one.
Yeah, it resets the timer until you are going to get a full brick. So those finders are actually worse.
So with that, do you not kind of just leave loads of purple bricks on the floor until
I
you
try to?
Okay. Yeah, no, we try to, but
but it's not always viably on. Yeah. You know, like if I'm going to get 3 rockets out of a purple brick, if I've only shot 2, I will actively try and avoid it, knowing I'm going to get 3 out of that. I don't want to pick it up right now. But that always doesn't become the option. Sometimes you just have to go near it.
Oh, okay.
The PvE ammo economy, that needs a serious change. It's absolutely ridiculous in places.
Or we could always go back to the whole. Oh God, what was it in D1? You could pop one every 5 minutes.
Ammo synthesis.
Thank you, ammo synth packages. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd be down for that, but they'd need to be longer than 5 minutes in my eyes. If you were going to make it that, because that refilled all your ammo.
Yeah, but you had to pay You had to pay to get them, though, didn't you? So wasn't that the trade-off?
You did, yeah. But they weren't that expensive considering how easy, everything is to come by.
Yeah, but I think they want to kind of limit how much stuff that you've got in your inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ammo economy needs a massive rework, really.
Yeah. No, I don't. No.
No. Now, have I worn you down? Have I worn you down enough that we can now talk about the weapons that we've seen the previews for this week? That they do detail 2 of them in This Week in Destiny, or the TWAB, for the 16th of May. So
Now
we do get to
this
see
is
the
good part.
microcosm and the Kvozdov 7GOX. But what we didn't get to see is the new one that is called just the Titan Golden Gun is what I like to call it.
You get a golden gun. You get a golden gun. Everybody gets a golden
What's that
gun.
at?
It's not in the 12. That's what I'm saying. They released it
Oh.
after the 12. It's one of the ones that they're going, oh, look at this. This is a new one.
No, I haven't seen any of these, what they're doing yet with these guns. The microchasm looks very stabby.
Stabby.
Yeah.
Look at the blades, dude. It's 3 swords put together. Tell me I'm lying.
Okay.
It certainly looks that way to me as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the other weapon is a sniper rifle called the Still Hunt exotic sniper rifle.
Oh.
So, no matter your subclass, summon a golden gun all of your own with this exotic sniper rifle, arriving with the final shape. And we'll link all of these in the show notes as well, because you want to see them. It's good stuff. Noble, have you got any takes on any of these weapons that you've seen that you kind of like the look of, or?
I hope Kvostov comes with a hunt to rebuild the weapon. If they're going to make it,
It probably won't.
if they're going to give us it back, I'd like to have to go and build it again, like what we did in Destiny 1 when they brought it back, and you have to go and find the weapon parts for it. I'd like to do it like that again, and I'd like for the weapon parts to be spread in multiple places so you could get some in patrol. You'd have to go into Legend Lost sectors, dungeons, raids, whatever, you know what I mean, to be able to find the weapon parts.
Yeah. So the Kvostov is an auto rifle, and it was the first weapon. I think you still get it gifted in when you do the New Light campaign, and it's the auto rifle with the broken sight on there. Yeah, the broken lens on there, and it held kind of a lot of nostalgia for Destiny 1 vets. And then we got it back at the end of Destiny 1. Was it exotic back then as well? I think
it was.
Exotic.
That's what he's talking about. You had to build
it,
though, and then once you build it, you could pick one of 3 variations of it to rock.
Auto rifle, then you could control its fire rate.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
It was pretty good. It wasn't.
It wasn't like game breaking. It was funsies.
It was fun to use because you could build the gun, right? But that, it was basically just a kinetic version of the No, they're both kinetic. The Suros regime, yeah,
Pretty much.
the Suros regime, how you can pick the fire with that, but off. You could tweak more stuff. And back then on the exotics, you couldn't do like what you do now. You couldn't build exotics. You couldn't change it. You couldn't do anything. So it was unique in the fact that you could build and change that gun.
The Kvostov that's available in Destiny 1, you could pick from the classic scope, which is the original Kvostov scope, which was optimized for range and stability, which had the crack in it, or the modernized scope, which grants additional zoom and target acquisition. And then you could pick from automatic, sets firing behavior to fully automatic, burst fire, sets fire to be burst behavior, and then semi-automatic, setting semi-automatic. And then you could pick between hammer forged, rifle barrel, braced frame, or extended mag, counterbalance, and rangefinder. With it could either be a 450 RPM or it could be a 900 RPM. I believe I've still got mine set on 900 RPM. I like that on 900.
I don't even think I can log into my D1 account.
Test it. So yes, the new one, it comes with a shot that ricochets every 7th round. So in the trailer, you can actually see this. After your 7th shot,
so it's got ricochet rounds, but worse.
No, but it's better ricochet rounds. They actually ricochet and shoot through other enemies. So it's a bit like that perk that you've got with the Wish Ender, where it will go through and then pierce,
penetrate.
Yeah, over penetrate and go round and ricochet.
But it doesn't
couple
over
more
penetrate.
times.
All it does is ricochet. But ricochet rounds, every bullet ricochets. This one, only one bullet every 7 rounds ricochets. So unless that bullet is doing big damage or you have a large magazine capacity, that seems like a terrible perk.
Well, you're going to make me have a look at the...
I'm not going to make you look at anything. I just gave my opinion.
are.
Unless it's got one of those two things, it doesn't sound very good.
Well, the magazine was 27 back when it was in Destiny 1.
Mhm.
So I don't know what... Because the magazines are completely different for Destiny 2, it could be anything, really. It just...
What was the original magazine again? What'd you say?
27 for an auto rifle.
Yeah. So let's assume it keeps that magazine, right? So you can proc that 7th bullet, what, 3 times?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does
No,
that
but
sound like a very strong perk?
No, but you put things like, armamentarium with this.
No,
just
no.
keep
If it was
rocking
a sniper and every, I don't know, 3rd shot did that, that
Well-
would be cool. But we're talking about 1 round from an auto rifle. I'm sorry, 3 rounds from an auto rifle out of every magazine that'll ricochet to 2 or 3 other enemies. Woo! So
The other thing
good.
that I'd like to know is, does that ricocheted shot cause self-damage?
No.
Is it going to be able to kill me? Because
No, I think the idea is that it will ricochet and shoot other enemies as well.
You're assuming.
other weapons with ricochet can kill you.
Mhm.
Like if you use Cyclus SMG, for example, you can kill yourself with it if you shoot against a wall. And then if you're using Sleeper Simulant, now that's got a ricochet thing that just bounces about and will kill things that gets in its way. But if that bounces back and comes at you, you're dead.
Yeah, but it doesn't bounce as much as it used to in D1.
It doesn't as much as it used to. But where are we going here? Are we going to have it so that there's a chance of it coming back and killing me? Because if there's
Do you want it to?
free chances in a magazine that it's not going to do much damage to somebody else, but it's going to kill me. That's
It's not going to do
even
much damage
less
to
now.
you either. It's an auto rifle round, dude. That's what I'm trying to get at. An auto rifle round. It's not going to do a ton of damage, man. That's what I'm saying. Unless it does do a ton of damage, which they haven't said anything about the damage, that doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. They haven't said anything about the damage. So if it is dealing a lot of damage, am I going to risk the chance of it coming back on me and killing me?
Yes.
Look, I don't think you should be worried about shooting the weapon and it killing you. Nutcases. So what do we reckon about the Macrocosm Exotic Heavy Trace Rifle? So in the preview, it doesn't actually show you a damage type that this weapon does, apart from when it's shooting at one point, you can see that it does like void damage, and then in the next shot, it looks like it's doing solar damage. So maybe this is one that kind of pairs with your prismatic subclass that kind of ties in with whatever you're kind of rocking. It will then kind of work in the same way as kind of other weapons.
Or is this a reason that fundamentals has been changed?
Maybe.
Are we going to get one that we can change the damage type on it?
I mean, it makes sense now that you mentioned it, since it says it does extra damage to shields, right? So either it is going to come with a fundamentalist type.
No. It doesn't do extra damage. It does massive damage to enemy shields.
I mean, it's a heavy. It should.
Massive.
But
the word
point I'm
is
getting at-
massive. Yeah.
what I'm getting at is it going to be something like adaptive munitions kind of damage, or is it going
Yes.
to be like the Borealis where you can just change the
Yes.
damage type to
Oh,
match
yes.
the shield and do extra damage?
All the yeses there.
Well, I know that's what you want, but is that what's going to happen?
Yes. I'm saying yes because I believe that it will. Everything will
Okay.
happen.
Well,
All the things.
All the things will happen and it will make you happy. Apart from the still hunt. That's not going to make you happy, is it?
I mean, if I can rock 2 golden guns that are high powered.
Exactly.
Now,
See, now this is
now,
my point.
hold on. Now, hold on.
I'm holding.
If it has a synergy with the Celestial Nighthawk, that would be even more amazing.
Oh,
I
that
tell
would
you
be
what.
nice.
If that fires off golden gun shots, can we put a little Celestial Nighthawk on top of it?
That's what I'm saying, right? So Celestial Nighthawk combines the 1 shot. I mean, you get 3 shots normally with Celestial Nighthawk, or 6, depending on the gun that you choose. Celestial Nighthawk combines the 3, doubles the damage into 1 shot, right? So if this magazine, don't know how many rounds it's got in the magazine, but if it's got 3 rounds or 6 rounds, will it consume all of those for 1 big golden gun shot if you're wearing Celestial? And even if it comes with a 6-round magazine, will it combine all of those for 1 big massive shot? I'm not even saying it has to double the damage like Celestial does. Celestial combines the 3, doubles the damage, so you get the damage of 6 shots, right, all at once. But if that gun, even if it didn't, double the damage, just combining all those rounds into 1 massive shot, reloading and firing it off again as 1 massive shot, if you're wearing Celestial, would be amazing. Even without increasing the damage, just combining the damage you would get from just the rounds that are in your magazine, like Izanagi's. And Izanagi's effect if you're wearing Celestial Nighthawk.
Well, it does say that you charge up power to fire a golden gun shot. So I'm guessing that you get shots on people and then you charge up golden gun shots.
That's how that works.
Do you know what this is really reminding me of? Actually, when I read about
Not
it,
a clue.
Zen Meteor, which was
remind me.
That was it was a solar sniper rifle in Destiny 1, and you used to get headshots with it, and the more and more you got headshots, the sides would start to glow and things like that. And then after, I think it was about 3, the 4th bullet I think it described it as like a stick of dynamite that it'd fire.
And what was this on?
Zen Meteor.
No, but was this an exotic armor weapon?
It was a D1 weapon. It was a D1 sniper rifle. So its intrinsic property was dynamite, grants explosive rounds, rapid kills with every round in the clip, load and extra light. Higher damage round for 5 seconds. I'll send you a link, Respawn. Like I say, it was a D1 weapon, so it's a while ago.
Destiny 1.
Yeah, I don't think I've got it in my...
Oh, this guy! Okay. Yeah. I remember now that I see it. Okay.
Yes, it was an exclusive weapon, it says, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exclusive
weapon. I never had it because I only played Xbox, but I do remember
on the
seeing
PlayStation until October 2017.
Yeah, then it was unlocked for everybody.
So yeah, it was the weapon just before we had Destiny 2, wasn't it? It was the last one to kind of...
It was one of the ones, yeah.
Yes, I vaguely remember it now. So yeah, it looks like they've repurposed it to be this weapon now for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, that's what that entire weapon reminds me of. Now I'm reading it, looking at it, and giving it some more attention without having a 2-year-old.
Yeah, but I hope it doesn't work the same way. Like you have to kill an enemy with this weapon to build that shot. So am I gonna have to kill red bars to then get the 1 golden gun? I mean, I guess it would still be worth it, but it's in the heavy slot.
No, it's not. It's not 1 golden gun. It's golden gun shots, and nobody said whether it's in the heavy or not.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll have to see how that plays out because there's a lot of factors that could change how I feel about that. It sounds fun on paper.
Oh, it does. Yeah, and it sounds. It sounds like it could be very useful if you, like I said before, if you don't necessarily have to have all hunters. You could have Titans and Warlocks whip this out and use Golden Gun as well. So that'd be quite nice.
Indeed.
So would you like to tell us about your new Hunter Exotic? Have you watched the trailer for the Hunter Exotic?
I have. Wasn't a fan. Let me refresh my memory real quick. Guilty Conviction. Oh, this one. Yeah, no. See, the thing after watching the trailer, it looks like it has to be primed, right? So it looks like he's got to get either headshots or headshot kills to prime this
chess piece.
thing.
Is it a chess piece? Yeah, it's the
It is a chess
gifted
piece.
convergence.
Yeah.
No, gifted conviction is the hunter exotic chess piece.
Yeah. So it only throws 3 arc bolt grenades after you pop a super. After it looks like you have to prime it. Like
Is
if
it
I can
after
just
a super, or is it just?
Well,
It says bouncing arc explosive capable of tearing through the witness's army with the gifted convergent exotic chess. That's
right,
all
but
it
when
kind
you
of
look
says.
when you look at it, it's when he pops his super, right?
Or
Does
is it just
say
that's
No.
the animation for that?
No, he definitely popped a super. No, he is popping his arc super right there.
Are you sure?
For sure.
Because it could just be that that's the animation for that exotic, that he jumps in the air, and that's how they spin out the balls that then just kind of are better arc
Would they
grenades
really
than.
use a super animation to do that though?
Why wouldn't they repurpose a super animation to do that?
I was just
Because
about
why
to
not
say,
just
why
come up with
wouldn't
a unique
they repurpose
animation?
something? Because that sounds
no,
like work.
actually,
Well, you asked what I think. If it looks like you have to prime it, and it looks like you have to pop a super,
okay,
right?
well, okay. If you
If
go
that's
back in the
case,
trailer,
no,
go back in the
absolutely not.
trailer to 7 seconds. He doesn't pop his super, but when he does use his arc uppercut kind of thing, it pops the ballies out as well. So maybe that is the arc super at the end. So maybe it can be procced using any ability. So supers and maybe a dodge. He does a slide, and the uppercut with the arc.
Oh, he did. Yeah, okay, I see it now. I didn't
And
see
it
those.
kills all of those enemies. It's because they put the
So
text
maybe on
across the
ability
screen.
use. Maybe that's what
Yeah.
it is. On ability use. Okay. If it's ability use, that's way better than it being a super specifically.
It's a bit, it's a little bit like the bombardiers. You have to use your dodge to get that bomb to kind of drop. So it's a bit similar to that.
But you don't have to prime the bombardiers. You just dodge, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like, because if you look at both, because I'm watching again now that I see the first part, right?
Yeah.
He pops 2 or 3 guys before he does the melee. 1,
does
2,
he even pop,
3,
or does
right?
he just shoot?
He does shoot them, right? So right there, he shoots 1, 2, 3, and then he shoots 2 at the end before he pops the ability, right? So it does appear that you still have to prime it. And I'm not really a fan of exotics you have to prime first. Again, like the bombardiers, you just dodge. Like the worm husk crown, you just dodge, right? If you could pop out 3 of these arc grenades just on ability use, that's cool. If you have to land 2, 3, some number of headshots first to do it, that's less cool. I
don't know. Sometimes you can get
I would
headshots
not
quicker
use that over
than your
1-2
ability.
punch on an arc build personally. 1-2 punch is so powerful on an arc build. You heal, you do damage. It's all kinds of nutty. So to sacrifice that ability to just pop off, 3 arc bolt nades every time I do an ability. No, if you spec into it, it could probably be pretty strong, depending on how powerful they are. If they're actually arc bolts, right?
Yeah.
And they do arc bolt damage, that would be incredibly strong. But we all know that that's not going to happen. Just like your exotic looks like it pops out actual rockets.
But they do look like they look more explosion-ish than the other like skip grenades kind of do. It looks more beefier.
Right, but like I don't know how much damage it does, but the one guy, what looks like a boss or a mini boss, he stuns him.
Yeah.
It did enough damage to stun him. So if that's any kind of indication, But yeah, I mean, if all I have to do is pop an ability, that's cool, and you can probably build around that depending on how much damage they do. But as it stands, I don't think it's gonna replace my 1-2 punch or my liar's handshake. Just honestly.
So no, but what do you reckon about the Matadoxia Warlock exotic chess piece? Are you going to be a fan? Are you going to be rocking this on your Warlock? So this is the arcane needles cause a suspending detonation. I think a lot of people were saying he's had to throw in the trailer. It shows you
all
kind of
3.
doing 3 kind of animations, but maybe it's because he's up against a boss that it needs all 3 at that point. So it suspends the actual kind of.
Well, you still needed 3 for
boss.
the champion.
That's what I'm saying.
Barrier,
the
he still got 3.
But maybe it just one thing kind of does one
But
enemy.
you got to keep in mind, it is three melees, right? But
Yes,
he's
but
not
will you
just
have to use
suspending
all
the one
three?
target. He's suspending an AoE number of people, you know? So is that worth 3 melees? I mean, I think it is. To suspend an
Depends upon
entire
how
group of
powerful
people?
it's going to be. To me, it looks like your free melees do the same as what the dive does on the hunter.
Yeah.
What, it suspends like about 10 targets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I
And then you
suppose
come back down.
It's an AoE. It's yeah.
Yeah, and that
It's an
the
AoE. I don't
thing
think
as
it's a
well,
number
yeah.
of targets. It's just whoever the radius of
Yeah.
it.
And I suppose it also depends on how quickly you can get your melees back to then do that again if you're going up against a lot of enemies, or if you want to use it on champions and things.
I mean, personally, no, I don't think I'd use it. I think I'd just use the shackle grenade.
Okay.
Right? Or if you're a
'Cause-
hunter, 2 of them.
Yeah, you're a hunter, 2 of them. You know, like I don't. Doesn't look anything special. Doesn't look.
I
It
mean,
doesn't mean
it
that it's
does
going to
give you
ship and
another
it's going to be.
suspend.
Yeah,
does
it
give you
doesn't
another
mean that it's going to
suspend.
ship and it's going to be rubbish. It just
Yeah.
that hasn't. You know, I mean, I'll have a play about with it, but it hasn't sold itself to me.
Well, as it stands, let me ask you this: as a Strand Warlock, does your melee do anything right now besides damaging? Because mine, when I hit X number of things, it A gives me back ability energy, and B, I can get, depending on how many people I hit, I get my throwing needle right back again immediately. So,
No.
and it does okay damage in PvE, but does yours have an effect aside from just damaging?
Not really.
So this, in effect, is just an upgrade, as long
Yeah.
as you got 3 on you. But you are taking up an exotic slot. What would you normally use on a Warlock for an exotic armor piece?
What for?
A strand.
For
A
strand.
strand.
I'm still using swarmers.
Yeah, swarmers are pretty good.
What's that?
It's a set of legs. So, like, I mean, I eat the grenade because that then gives me a bunch of threadlings, and then you pop your rift, and you get a shed ton more threadlings.
Oh,
Come
that's an
out for the
exotic?
damage.
I thought that was your artifacts and fragments.
No, it just boosts them all.
Oh. Okay.
And
that
then
does make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about your rocket launcher barricade BS shenanigans?
My
Bungie loves
hazardous
Titans
propulsion exotic
nonsense.
chest piece for Titans. That's that will, on summon of my class ability, will fire rockets.
Wait,
Exodus rockets.
is that failsafe on your chest?
a
Hold on.
volley of Exodus rockets.
Yeah.
It does very much look like failsafe, doesn't it?
Bro, are you equipping failsafe?
Why not? You know, these days, why can't I have failsafe?
Just put her onto
Bro,
a
okay,
USB
look.
drive with what's this? Rasputin. Just
I will play Titan for a season if failsafe talks to you at all times while you have that chest piece on.
don't do that, because last time you did that, you ended up playing Titan for 3 seasons.
Honestly,
Hated
it would be
everything
worth it.
about
No, it would be worth it to have failsafe equipped to you. I love failsafe. I like her a lot. And I mean, she was also good with the interactions with Cade. I don't know if Cade not being there would be so good. But failsafe is amazing. She's lonely, guys. Come on.
But we're not going to have Cade, but we're going to have a kind of Cade. So maybe you could have the arguments back again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you've got her on a USB stick, because she's like, take me to that idiot that got stuck and brought the Fallen.
She's on an SD card in your chest piece.
Take me over there to that man.
Yeah.
I do like the look of the hand cannon in the video for the Titan, where he kind of shoots 2 enemies, dodges back, and then the explosions from something hit the ogre.
So, no, Titans have a dodge. Yay. Hey, let me ask you a question. Do hunters have a barricade?
Yeah, if it was Titans, give you one.
Yeah.
Do hunters have a healing rift?
Yeah, if a Warlock gives you one.
Oh, I see. So why is it that Warlocks and Titans both have a hunter dodge, But we don't have any of your class ability stuff.
You do.
You can
No, we
do.
don't.
If we give you one, you can have it.
Okay. Is anybody dodging for the Titan right here? Let me rewind. Hold on. Let me see. Oh no, I don't see a hunter dodging for the Titan right there.
Exactly.
Look,
But you're not sharing yours. We're sharing ours, right? So therefore, if you're not going to share,
sharing ours,
just give
y'all
us it.
stole them from
If
us.
you're not going to share it with us, we're just going to take it from you forcefully.
Oh my god. I hate that about Bungie, man.
I can see that.
Just give the dodge to everybody, but give nothing to the hunters. I love it.
I can see that this barricade thing is going to be
problematic,
nasty in PvP, especially if you kind of rock Strand. Because if you rock Strand and it comes out with you put
Threadlings as well.
No, you put on the aspect that when you pop your barricade, it sends at least one kind of strand out to kind of tangle you up. Suspend. That's the word.
It's a Threadling that it fires, isn't it?
No, it's a wave. Imagine a wave frame in a line.
Yeah, it sends the wave out, and then you get suspended. So imagine you get suspended, and then you get the rockets in your face as well. I think they'll probably do what they've done with the other chess piece not the chess piece, the gauntlets for the Titans. So that is the overshield ones that you can get. You know, the ones I'm talking about. So the Icefall mantles. Yeah. So when you pop it, it gives you a stasis overshield rather than the barricade.
So freeze and rocket, burn and rocket, or
no, not freeze. No, like because the freeze thing, you'd have to have the subclass, the prismatic subclass on that, then and the prismatic, and then the class item as well. So you wouldn't be able to rock this as well. So I could see this as just purely a Strand build, which would be quite interesting. But yeah, and what I found the other day is the Icefall mantles work on like Strand subclass as well. So I pop my barricade, or I pop my Icefall mantles to give myself an overshield, punch somebody to death, and because I had Strand on, I gave myself the Banner of War. So I had the Banner of War, an overshield, and I was quite happy running around in PvP.
I bet you were. Yeah,
I was.
I bet you were.
And it also gives you a damage bonus to stasis weapons as well. So that was added bonus.
So I want to bring to your attention what I discussed with him on the way here before you joined, right?
Who are you talking to? You're talking to Noble now.
I'm talking to Noble about the conversation we had.
About me, so I'll just stay quiet in the corner, shall I?
So, well, no, we didn't actually discuss it back and forth, but
okay, go on.
So all of our exotics enhance something that our light can do, right?
I was here for this conversation. Yeah, go on.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
I don't remember you being there. So what do you think about, just spawning rockets out of a Titan's butthole? That has nothing to do with light.
They don't come out of my butthole. Don't be gratuitous and vulgar. They come out of the barricade.
I'm looking at it. It's coming out of the butt.
The barricade. Or might come out of the chest piece. Might come out the back of the chest piece. There might be mini rockets on the back of my chest.
I think it looks like, if you look at a picture of it that I'm looking at, it looks like they come out sort of like lower ribs. So it's like two hulls that I think it looks like the shoot out of.
Oh yeah, there's holes on the top, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah,
there's two up top as well.
Pop, it looks like it's coming out your butt. Anyway, so that has nothing to do with your light at all. So
yeah, I'm light and airy and float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
That has nothing to do with light or dark or anything. That is you're pulling rockets out of thin air and firing rockets. Rockets.
And?
That's ridiculous. What do you mean and? It's ridiculous, man.
No, like you can justify this in a million and one different ways. You're saying that you can justify your argument in a million and one different ways. Yeah, the Titan is firing rockets. Yes, fine. The Hunter is doing whatever it wants to do. It's firing out grenades.
How? Oh, from some ability. Okay, all right, fair enough. But that's still light-based. I'm firing out light.
So what makes a grenade? What makes a grenade, which is an explosive object,
No, a grenade. Our grenades come from light. It is a representation of how our light behaves, right? And it's not a physical object until we
But
manifest
just
it.
because it shapes itself as a grenade, this just shapes itself as a rocket.
Look,
But
he's just upset that he doesn't get that. Look, we've always told you can play as a Titan and get those abilities.
shouldn't have to though, right?
Why?
Like
I have to play as a hunter to get your abilities.
What abilities do we have? Freaking warlocks have buddies with every rift that they
You
own
have
forever.
a cloak.
You guys can on a barricade. So not only do you get a shield, right? You get a shield that can either suspend, burn, freeze, rocket, or a combination of the four, right? Hunters, we have a dodge.
You have a dodge that you can go invisible, or if you're on a solar subclass, you can charge yourself up and make yourself empowered.
Or you can reload.
Is empowering fire rockets out of my butt?
No, but it makes whatever you're shooting solar do more damage. I can't remember what it is. The when you do that special leap forward and radiant. That's the word. Yeah, you can make yourself radiant. And that helps quite a lot.
Does it though?
It does.
I'm not shooting homing rockets when I go radiant.
They can reload with it.
Yeah, you can reload, dodge to reload really quickly.
Titans never have to reload ever.
We do.
Only he uses an auto rifle or a machine gun.
Yeah.
I mean,
our dodge doesn't do anything offensively.
It offends me when you break my line of sight.
Yeah,
that really offends me when I'm trying to shoot you in the face and you dodge off.
Now there's an exception. Okay, so the Bombardiers you could argue is offensive, but in actuality it's a defense because you got to be rushing me. I dodge away and the thing drops at your feet. That is still a defensive thing. And even our Strand buddy, that's a defensive thing. I dodge away. If you don't go near that thing, it won't do anything to you. It's just it's a beacon. It's a defensive option. But Warlocks pop any rift. They got buddies that seek you out and kill you. Titans have flaming waves, have freezing walls, which I guess is more defensive again. Not a whole lot of option unless you break the ice and the ice shards kill somebody. So I'll give you that one as kind of a 50-50, right? But the Strand thing, that's an offensive thing. It goes out and suspends somebody so you can then kill them. You have rockets that aggressively track, if this video's any indication, right? And then you have the one that just sends out a solar wave to set people on fire. You have an option that gives you a defensive wall with an offensive aspect. That is ridiculous.
Don't stand in the solar wave and you're okay.
It doesn't matter if you got to stand in there. The fact that Titans and Warlocks have those as options is ridiculous. Hunters, we don't get anything like that we don't get any offensive benefits from a dodge.
Yeah, you do. Bombardiers, you just said it yourself.
That's more of a defense. You got to be rushing me for that.
Gemini Jesters.
Gemini Jesters
just removes the radar.
Yeah, that helps.
Offensive about that.
Right.
And again,
but the barricade with the big flame, that just removes your health.
Okay. Yeah, which is arguably more dangerous.
Not knowing where you are is more dangerous than
that Bungie loves
a little bit of your health.
And Warlocks more than Hunters.
I will admit that Bungie love to enhance the final shape.
I hate you so much.
I know. So during the Lightfall year, players have gotten a taste of weapons to enhance with Raid Adept weapons from Root of Nightmares and Crota's End. In the final shape, you'll see that this system has undergone some upgrades, making enhancing your weapon easier to allow us to comfortably expand this system to include more weapons. So here's a quick recap on how weapon enhancement will work alongside other changes.
Gee, will it be enhancing perks that you already own? Yes? Cool. Got it.
Okay. Yeah, but you may get it. Other people might not.
It's the same way everything else does enhancement.
Okay.
Like, why?
So weapon enhancements allow the weapon to be upgraded to receive enhanced traits, a weapon level and memento socket. To upgrade your weapon, players can navigate to the inspection screen and insert the enhancement tier mods for standard currencies. Raid Adept weapons will continue to use Spoils of Conquest. So for the example that they've given in the TWAB, that they've got the Luna's Howl from the Onslaught. So Your enhancement tier 1 replaces your masterwork and provides this weapon with enhanced intrinsics that match the stats of your old masterwork. Provides a weapon level, a date when you first enhance the weapon, and a memento socket. And raid adepts only. Since these weapons have a base crafted version, we wanted the adept versions to feel a bit more meaningful with upgrades. Therefore, these weapons can visit the relic on Mars to adjust their first 2 columns, typically barrels and magazines, in a similar fashion to how crafted weapons can augment these columns. And then enhancement tier 2, which is weapon level 11 required. Once the player inserts the mod, the left column traits will automatically be upgraded to the enhanced perks. If you have multiple perks, this will upgrade all traits in the column. Players will not need to visit the relic on Mars to update these traits anymore. And enhancement tier 3, which is weapon level 17 required. Once the player applies the mod, the right column weapon trait perks will automatically be updated to be enhanced. Like the left column, this will upgrade all the traits present and do not require you to visit the relic. And they've heard a lot of feedback about weapons that should have more avenues to acquire enhanced traits. In the final shape, all new weapons will either be craftable or have access to weapon enhancements. In addition, weapons that remain active drops in the following activities will be eligible for enhancement. So Vow the Disciple raids adepts, Guardian Games, Kingsfall raid adepts, Gambit, Competitive Crucible, all of them, Trials of Osiris, Crucible, Iron Banner, Vanguard Ops, Nightfalls, and Prophecy Dungeon. This will include older instances of weapons as long as they have the origin trait. Unfortunately, due to some technical constraints, there are a handful of weapons instances from beyond Season 17 that have origin traits and are active drops, but they will not be eligible for weapon enhancements. If a weapon is not currently actively dropping in these activities and players, or is under the legacy focusing option, it will not be enhanceable when the final shape releases. If weapons are reissued and become part of the playlist active drops, so once again, we'll update older versions of these to have the origin traits to enhance the weapon enhancements, to enter weapon enhancements. Oh. Are we happy about this? Are you guys looking forward to enhancing weapons that you currently have?
It's no change from how you do weapons for like the adept weapons. It's the adept weapon crafting system.
Yes, but for people that haven't had access to that don't do raids and don't do dungeons, and you've been getting your Onslaught weapons and you saved a couple of weapons from Iron Banner, and what else was it that they said it was a couple of weapons from something else recently? The Hullabaloo and from the Guardian Games, wasn't it? Though the Traxxas post and that they said that those will be enhanceable come final shape. So those weapons that we kind of just average drops that we can now make better slightly with enhanced perks, is that not good?
I mean, if anything you can enhance is going to be good, but you don't understand how adept weapons. Well, you might, I don't know, but like it's not like crafting a weapon where you just feed in a little bit of materials, or you can just take it somewhere and level, whatever. No, what you have to do with this thing is you have to feed it like high end materials to go from 1 to 2 to 3. And level it up, So there's a lot more involved in this process than just leveling up normal crafted weapons. Which, it was aggravating when it came to the adept weapons. It's aggravating now, because they're not adept. You don't get adept mods on here. Whatever. It's a shiny roll. It's not even an adept roll. And for you to have to upgrade it like you would an adept weapon, it's aggravating. This is how I feel. You say what you want, but I think it's aggravating.
I think that it should have been stuck with the adepts. So it should have been added onto the Nightfall adept weapons. Fine.
Yeah.
Master dungeons. If you add it onto the weapons that come out of Master dungeons, fine. It says competitive Crucible. The Crucible is not PvP in Destiny is not competitive. It's just not. There is no competitive side to Crucible in PvP.
Well, I think they're talking about the weapons that you can kind of get from that, aren't they?
Yeah, but any
like the Rose hand cannon and the
any Muppet can go and get those. You know what I mean? Like that's not like when we used to have Not Forgotten.
Redrix,
yeah. If we had those still in the game and they were enhanceable, fine, not a problem. But Rose, the sniper rifle, whatever, I can't even think of what else there is anymore in Crucible.
Like Hush, if you could do this to like Hush, for example, like the Sun Risen, what were they called? Seasonal weapons, but they weren't called seasonal. They had a term for them. Like the Hush, Mountaintop, Recluse,
ritual weapons.
Yeah, ritual weapons.
No, before they were ritual, they were something else. Whatever.
Well, ritual first. I know what you mean.
Ritual
I know
weapons,
what you mean,
things
though.
like that, right? Yeah. So all of those weapons, like the Hush, the original Luna's Howl, the Claymore. What the hell was the
Redrich's Claymore?
Yeah, the Claymore, not the broadsword, right?
Yep.
It's a Claymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but if all those sorts of things were enhanceable, fine. But to just now go out and get a standard trials weapon and go, actually, this is an absolutely amazing roll on this weapon. I'm going to enhance all this, and all of a sudden, it's almost up there with the Adept version of it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, a non-enhanced Adept version.
No, it's enhanced. It just doesn't have the extra specs in it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
if you get the Adept version, you can then also enhance that, can't you?
You can, but I just don't see the point. You can't get an
Adept Luna's Howl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these aren't
no
Adept weapons. This looks like it's for the shinies that we're getting now, right? Did I miss something?
Well, no, there is a list. There is a list of what you're going to get them from. So Crucible is one of them.
Okay, yeah.
Which is what I'm getting at. So,
and then all Crucible weapons as well.
Yeah, and no, it should have stuck to the high-end weapons.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is, because, like Respawn was saying, that it costs so much to enhance these that you'll need to play the game to get the ammo economy to level these up and the materials to make these. It won't just be on a whim of like, oh, this one. It'll be like, I really need to kind of level that one up because that is the one. So even if you do get these weapons to drop and you want to kind of enhance them, then it is going to be a kind of selection process of like, well, this one's really good for this, but I really want to kind of enhance this one, and you'll use your materials on that one, build up the rest of your materials, and it's not going to be
it's not just Adept. That. Like, we haven't even discussed the elephant in the room, right? Like,
Don't
a craftable weapon,
like that.
A craftable weapon, you can put whatever perks you want on there. With these weapons, you can't.
No.
Right? So you get a roll. You have to first hope you get the roll that you want because you can't craft it. You can only enhance what's existing. Let me say that again. This crafting system isn't a crafting system. You're enhancing what your gun already has.
Yes.
Right? So actually it says enhancement. Okay, so there you go. You're just enhancing.
Yes.
But to enhance a weapon takes more materials than making the weapon from scratch via crafting. That's asinine, right?
You can change certain perks as well.
Well, you can't change any perks.
Well, I could when I did mine.
Yeah, it says that some perks will be like the barrels and things. It says that
barrels, magazines, that sort of thing.
You can change those, but the good rolls, the third and fourth column, you can't.
Yeah,
which are arguably the most important ones.
I was just making sure that you hadn't made any mistakes in the past, though.
That's why you farm them. Magazines. That's why you should have been farming your Onslaught, and you should be holding on to the weapons that you kind of look like, this one will be really good if I can kind of enhance. Yeah,
but it's backwards though, right? So if you can craft any weapon from scratch with any perks you want, you would think that would take more materials. No, listen,
you can't though.
You would think that crafting from scratch would take more materials, right? But crafting takes less materials when you're crafting from scratch. But when you have a weapon that's already built, it's more expensive to just change the perks that are already there. That's asinine.
Well, no, because I suppose you've worked for the Red Borders to then be able to use that to then go,
I've worked for Adept weapons?
Well, no, like this Luna's Howl, like you're saying that it costs more for me to kind of upgrade it and enhance it. Yes, because it could have just been a lucky drop. It could have just been, this is amazing. Whereas you've worked for your Red Borders, your Adept Red Borders in your raid and things.
You've had to farm to get that lucky drop, right?
Yeah, but it's luck of the draw. It's not like you've worked to get your red borders to then go, you know what, I'm going to craft this.
Onslaught, some people would argue it's not the
I was going to
easiest
say
thing to do in the world.
That's a 50-50 argument. That like, what's the easiest thing to do? Is it easier to farm the encounter for just a regular roll, or is it easier to farm the encounter and get the red border?
Exactly. Right. And then when it comes to raids, you have to do a whole ass raid.
But how hard is it to get a red border in a raid?
Pretty hard.
Exactly. So you should be rewarded for being able to kind of craft a weapon at a lower cost.
You get a guaranteed red border if you complete it on master difficulty at once a week per character.
Yeah.
If you do the red chest puzzle, right, you get a second guaranteed red border per week. Right,
but that's still a lot of runs. That's that is time and effort that you put in to learn.
Keep in mind, not everybody can do a raid. No. Right, look at Pantheon, for example. How many people are struggling with Pantheon? Right, it's not the easiest thing to do. No. So,
struggling to find time.
Huh? What's that?
I'm just struggling to find time for Pantheon.
Yeah,
I mean, fair enough. But me and Mike have been playing all week, and we haven't completed week 2 or week 3 yet because we can't get a competent team. Week 1, we blew through it. Weeks 2 and 3, bruh, I've been stuck with every team on Caretaker, which is one of the easier ones.
Yeah.
All week.
Yeah, should not be difficult.
No. My team blew through Caretaker.
Because it's not hard. Just whatever. I'm not getting into it. That's not the point. Point is, you're doing much more difficult activities to get this adept weapon. And again, you have to get the roller drop that you want to begin with. So not only are you risking not getting an adept weapon at all, you got to make sure that it is going to have the roll that you want. And then on top of the work you've already done to get the adept weapon that you want, now it's going to cost more materials to upgrade this than making one from scratch? That makes no sense. It should cost less for weapons you've had to work harder to get.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint. Just the enhancement system is it's a scam.
It's asinine, as you keep telling me.
Yeah, I mean,
but there is good news on the horizon for you.
Is it going to take less materials?
No, the problem that you keep saying to me about your mementos only being able to hold one and maybe one in your postmaster.
Yeah,
now
you get 3.
The cap is being raised from 1 to 3.
Yay!
Wow!
Right?
Wow! Let me roll out a red carpet for that one.
Well, yeah. Crafting and enhanced weapons will no longer need to visit the Relic Master to be applied for mementos to be applied, and players can apply mementos of their choosing directly to the weapon inspection screen. Mementos will no longer be stored alongside players' consumables. When the final shape launches, your mementos under consumables will show as faded. Then once the faded mementos is dismantled, you'll see +1 memento added to the weapon inspection screen as virtual currency. For players who figured out how to get around the original memento stacking size limit, this will allow you to dismantle all those mementos safely, even if you temporarily go over the intended stack limit of 3. If you're holding 3 or more of a particular memento, it will not drop again until you've spent your mementos to be under the stack size limit of 3.
Right. So Bungie, quick question, asking for a friend.
You
realize that this is a video game, right?
Yes.
And that all the currency is virtual currency?
Yes. Am I meant to be Bungie at this point? Am I meant to be responding to this? I don't know.
Listen to this. Oh, it's just going to be virtual currency inside of your... Dude, it's a video game. It's all digital virtual currency. You know? You're not doing anything special by calling it that. You're not doing anything special by giving us a whopping 3. Like, oh my God, I'm swooning. Get out of here. It should have never been 1. You know?
I mean, it shouldn't be free with an increase.
Yeah. It should be like every other, shader that we have, because it's basically all it is a shader and a kill tracker.
Yep.
That's all it is.
And a title.
So, like every other shader you've got, once you've earned it, you could either keep earning more. Because it is an end game activity, I can understand, when you use it, it goes away. I'm perfectly okay with that, right? But you should not be limited on the number that you can have, especially not at like 3. Like, what the hell?
Well,
Or
It's
one.
three of each. So 3 Nightfall,
I
3
know it's 3 of
Trials,
each,
3
but still,
Gambit,
it's
3.
only 3.
Well,
It's a
Craft
It's like
those
saying
glorified
that you can
shader.
only hold 3 enhancement cores. Why?
just because
Why
I
do I
deemed it.
only want to
I
hold
deemed
3?
it. No, I deemed it. That's it.
No, they want you to go back and grind. They want you to use the 1 or the
Yes.
3 in this case to go back and grind for it more. But if I'm doing an activity, I'm not grinding for mementos. I mean, aside from the very ostentatious trial shader, do any of these look good to anybody?
There's the black one, and I do
I
like
was
the
gonna say,
Guardian
I
Games
like the
one with
Not
the
a
red
black.
one.
There's not a black memento.
Yes,
What are
there
you talking
is.
about? Where?
Yeah, there is. The one that came with the Halloween event. You had it on Apex Predator.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, fine. That one, but you can't go back
Yeah.
and get that one anymore. Which
Yes, you
further
can.
proves my
You
point.
can get it from Mara.
If you've
You
done your
can?
wishes and you can't, if you've done your wishes and you need to use your wishes up before the end of the season, she sells them.
But you have to use a wish for it. I see.
Yeah, you've got to use them little token things.
But the good news is, Noble, they've reduced the fragment cost at Ikora in the final shape. So if you wait a couple of weeks, the subclass fragment purchased from Ikora are expensive at the moment, particularly considering how many there are. So especially for new lights in the final shape, they've reduced the cost of the fragments from 25,000 glimmer
Yeah.
to 10,000 glimmer. They've got a goal, and it's to make these viable build crafting elements more accessible for new and returning players.
Why not just make them free?
No, you have to pay. You have to use your hard-earned glimmer.
Do you know how 10,000 glimmer for a new light? It's ridiculous.
I know it's a lot, but they have given you new ways and new avenues to get more glimmer. So there is that. And also in the TWAB this week, the Pantheon grows stronger. Another week, and your task has become more difficult because Guardians now have to kill Rolk, Disciple of the Witness, and he's the latest boss added to the Pantheon. Now, I know Respawn was talking about this earlier, that he's having difficulty doing it. What about you, Noble? How far have you got with your Pantheoning?
I've done the first week, and then I just haven't had time to be able to get back into it, to be fair.
Okay.
I
So
just,
is it something you're going to look at trying to get done for?
I'd like to.
Are you bothered if you don't?
Not really.
Does it not hold standing in like the PvE community and the raiding community if you don't have the emblems going
It does. It does. But I'm at the stage now where I've got 2 kids that take up more of my time.
You know what? Honestly, I was waiting for that. Once you go past the 1, it's like I've now got 2+. That time has now gone out the window.
And it's and I'm not being, but on top of that, it's summer. The nice weather's here. There's fairs, there's fates, there's galas, there's all sorts of these things that are just kids want to go.
About? Yeah, no, stay in. Look, do what I've done with my children. Right? I know it was a bad mistake to start off with. Give them an Xbox controller to play with. Then, once they're old enough, provide them with an old Xbox 360. Then, download some games so that they can play on it. And then, as they get older, just upgrade the Xboxes. My son, I've had a discussion with my son today. He's gone through 5 controllers and nobody knows what he's doing with them. I know he just drops them on the floor and breaks the blooming things. But anyway, that's a different discussion. So you provide them with the playing of the Xbox, and that way they are kind of accustomed to staying in and playing Xbox rather than going out and touching grass. I've created my own little kind of biodome of children that would rather stay in and play Xbox.
I don't need to create that biodome. I'm ginger. I don't want to be outside in direct sunlight anyway.
There you go then. I've solved 2 problems for you. 2 birds, 1 stone.
I've got a wife that's bossy and demanding.
There is that as well. I have one of them. And we end up going to the farm for the kids.
Yeah, and the wife enjoys it more than the kids.
Yeah. But that's completely off topic of Destiny.
Just turned into a marital thing.
Yeah, email us at twotitansandahunter.com if you want to discuss your marriage with me or Noble, and we will respond to you with our woes as well.
With great sadness.
But Zero Hour did make its triumphant return, and as I kind of I was telling you guys earlier that I did try it a couple of times solo because I thought, 40 minutes. I used to be able to get through it in 20. I should be able to get through it in 40 and destroy that boss. And I was like, no, not with the builds that I was kind of rocking I don't know about you. Did you play the other night? You said with
I did
Peroty?
get through it. Yeah, nice.
Or was it Respawn
No,
you were
I was
playing?
trying to get Peroty on the other night, but he's dodging me like he's Neo. That's what that's the problem is. But yeah, I have got through it. I did it with Blue.
Okay.
Great fun, absolutely excellent. Sat there and fought, self the same as you. We used to knock this out in 15 minutes. What's the problem? I've got the emblem for doing it with 5 minutes left on clock. This will be so easy. 40 minutes, smash it, not a problem. Got in there and was like, this. Where am I going? What am I doing?
No, I remembered where I was going. Apart from when it got to the bit where you're on the outside of the building and you've jump on those kind of yellow cages, and there's a couple of snipers. And I know I had to go down and underneath, but they've changed the down and underneath, haven't they?
Yep.
That's what threw me off. Is that they used? I know there was a bit that you could kind of that was sticking out that you had to jump to, but when I got down there, I was like, "Oh, is it like completely different? Am I meant to go a different way now?" And it's kind of I was going one way and I should have gone back the other way. But yeah, I did figure it out in the end. That was the only kind of bit that I got stuck on to start off with. But I still ended up with enough time to get to the boss area. It was just that I was getting destroyed every time I spawned in. And then I took the unlimited sword build in, and I survived. But it was I needed extra time to do the DPS.
Yeah.
So what build did you take in to do 0 hours?
I took Fallen Sunstar, Risk Runner, because I was like, Risk Runner used to be absolutely amazing in here. I'm taking it again. And Risk Runner was still very good in there. Wasn't as good as it used to be. I mean, you used to be pretty much invincible in there if you were wearing Risk Runner. Not anymore. But still very good. The Fallen Sunstar was just so much fun because obviously it just increases your amount of ionic tracers coming in. And Risk Runner just absolutely loves to smash ionic tracers out at you. Like, here, have an ionic trace. Thank you. Which meant, obviously, they're just more abilities all the time. And it was lovely. It was really, really enjoyable. The only thing that ever really tripped me up was when people followed you and would then steal your kills. It was like, you're literally killing me. Go away. Go stand over there, right? But you're not killing me. Kill things over in that corner.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really fun.
I used Tiku's, which was quite good. Tiku's, and what else did I use? I used something else, like I think it was an auto rifle grenade launcher. I swapped the two different builds. Tried not to kind of swap too much because I thought maybe one build would be able to take me through. But it looks like I did watch, like I said, I watched this YouTuber do it on Legend as a Titan, and he was swapping between builds of using different weapons. And I saw a Cheese Forever video this week that basically said that if you fire a dragon's breath at the walkers on the dome, it one shots them. And I was like, oh, that would have been handy to know. So I'll link that in the show notes because
sorry, I could have told you that. Yep.
Yeah, but like I said, I wanted to kind of go in solo and just give it a go and see how far I kind of got without kind of having to look at the guides again. And
I did look up a guide, but only because I couldn't remember the route on the floor.
Yeah.
You
say that. Yeah, I think you and Donny this week have both sent me the stuff about the guides on the floor, which was the 0 hour fire and paths. And there are 3 different days on a rotation. And I believe, did it start on Arc? Was it the first day?
I can't even remember.
I know the second day
that it shouldn't be days either. It should be weeks.
Ah.
It changed to.
Yeah, it changed. Okay. It changed on the second day, as far as I'm aware. And there are 3 different paths for Void, Solar, and Arc, and then they're also different if you're doing the Legend version as well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that Donny sent me a picture with all different variations. I think one was in German to start off with, or Spanish.
Right.
And
so the first day was Arc, because I've just opened the pictures and had a look at that map there that I can see for Arc. Yeah, that's what it was first.
So currently, so Tuesday was Arc, Wednesday was Void, Thursday was Solar. So we've gone back to Arc for Friday. Saturday reset will be Void. Sunday will be Solar. Monday will be Arc. Tuesday will be Void. Wednesday will be solar. So yeah, it's going like that. And then you have it again. There's two different patterns, like one for normal and one for legend.
One for Ledge.
Yeah, I'll see if I can drop that straight into the Google document on our website, and just so that people can just quickly look at it rather than kind of looking at a video. But if it's not there, then maybe check out a video for it. I will link the one in the show notes. The 0 Hour by Ninja Pups.
Go to Reddit and have a look on Reddit on raid secrets, and it is literally 0 hour fire room paths, and that's a really quick way to do it. Because
there you go. Is that the link that you sent to me?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I'll drop that into the show notes for you. But yeah, I do have a guide from 0 Hour Quests Week 1 from Ninja Pups, and Scarrow 9 also goes over how to get the secret 0 hour ship, because there are different things that you need to do each week, but they've already worked out what the puzzles are and the solutions are for each week for the 3 weeks. So you can go and check that out. And Solo Flawless Legend at 0 Hour by Jimbo is what I watched him do. Fantastic, with what he was doing. So go and check that one out. But yeah, it's something I'm gonna see if I can do it again solo. And if I can do it solo, I might try doing it flawless. But Trevor's the only issue, isn't he? He's like, I'm gonna come and I think you need to know a rotation of Trevor, but I don't know if he's actually on a specific rotation that people have.
I don't know if he's on a specific rotation. I always find just as soon as I get into that room, I just don't stop.
No.
And as soon as I get to the hole, he always goes past to the left, and I follow him as you drop down, turn left. Yeah. I always follow him that way, and then just go from the left and do 1, 2, 3, 4, coming back round.
Yeah, I mean, I think he changes direction depending on which switch that you kind of turn on as well.
Yeah.
Because if you turn on a specific switch, he will beeline it for you.
Yes.
And he always seems to be. You always think, oh, I'm going to go to this side of the switch to run away because I know he'll beeline for me. But he always ends up finding you, even if you think that that's the way that he's going to come. He comes the opposite way, and you're like, oh, I'm standing right in front of you.
I do it that way, and then on the last one, I go into the middle and hide in the middle until he goes past me.
Because and it's a lot easier now with strats as well to kind of to pull yourself out of the way. So yeah. And as Bungie mentioned last week, they're celebrating the release by asking you to share your favourite moments with Trevor and post your art, snapshots, screenshots, videos, or memes. And use the hashtag #MyFriendTrevor, and that's a 3 of an E. And
I do wish I took a video the other day, because when you always get that couple of seconds before you do a respawn.
Yeah.
And my ghost was just sat, but as I watched Trevor go away, I could see my body being dragged along the back of Trevor, and I was just getting slapped from side to side as I was getting dragged along, and I just looked like this fish, just flopping about at the back of Trevor,
killed
getting slapped off the walls.
I'd done the switch. I'd run to the electric wall, couldn't get past the electric wall. He came in, killed me, and I thought, okay. And it gives you you can respawn, and it put me right back where he'd killed me. He came back down the same route and just killed me instantly again. I was like, oh my God.
Why are you still here?
Why are you? I should have waited. Yeah.
Yeah, I do now, though, have the triumph for making it through Trevor without dying. I had to keep going until I got that. Yeah. So I have managed to do Trevor without dying now.
I think I did do that at one point. But yeah, I think that was with the team.
Yeah.
And then in the TWAB this week, we have the Metro? Is it Metro? The Metro webcomic feature. So this is a Japanese webcomic artist, Metro, that details her first journey into Destiny 2. There's quite a few pages and very funny. If you want to have a look at that, that's all in the TWAB this week. And then we have Peroty's player support with no Peroty. So one of us is going to have to do that. Would you like to do it, Noble? Would you like to take up the...
Where am I going?
Bottom of the TWAB, the players support.
Oh, God. This is a lot. This is reading this. I'm going to get tongue-tied in here, don't you? Right, so... Destiny Content Vault updates. With the start of Year 7 of Destiny 2 on June the 4th, certain items will be depreciated from player inventories that correspond with vaulted activities and seasonal campaigns. They will then be moved to the Destiny Content Vault. We have updated the Destiny Content Vault article to reflect these changes and created a new article fully outlining items being depreciated at the start of Year 7 for players to reference.
So that's basically anything that's at the helm at the moment.
Yes.
So any helm activities, get those done because they are going away. Grab your engrams, turn in as much as you can.
As is the awesomeness of Pantheon, which really guts me. I would have liked to have kept Pantheon personally, but hey-ho. Parental controls. Parents, guardians, and other responsible adults are now able to adjust their child's Destiny 2 settings. To set up parental controls, both the child and their adult need a Bungie.net account, and we will need to verify that the person providing consent and setting controls is an adult. We have created a parental controls help article with details explaining how to create an account and instructions on linking it to your child's. We have also updated our privacy policy. Please visit Bungie.net to create or manage your account and set your preferences today. I've heard a lot about that, and it's causing a lot of problems with some people.
Yeah.
Because one of the things they're asking for is ID.
Okay.
And a lot of people are not willing to part with their ID to Bungie.
No.
There's a couple of players, one in particularly in the clan in Frozen. He is no longer able to use game chat or the in-game text chat thing.
Oh dear.
Because
Because Bungie say.
Because Bungie say that he needs to supply them with ID, which he isn't very happy with. Known issues. While we continue investigating various known issues, here is a list of the latest issues that were reported to us in our help forum. Capturing a zone in the Collision PvP game mode will, while having a full super energy, will slightly reduce super energy. Cool, so don't do that. Tormentors can push turrets away in Onslaught with their slam or grab attack. The Zero Death Triumph only unlocks when completing 0 hour on the Legendary difficulty, which should unlock on both normal and Legend difficulties. For a full list of immersion issues in Destiny 2, players can review our known issues article. If you observe other issues, please report them to our #help forum. So There you go.
Thank you, stand-in Peroty there.
Peroty the second.
Yeah.
With no pink pants.
Well, we don't know if you have pink pants or not. Much like our Artist of the Week, Cheese Lord, over on Twitter, has a lovely picture of many ghosts that have been available and are available in Destiny in cartoon form. It looks
It's
very
actually
cool.
quite cool.
It is very cool. I'd like that as a background on my phone, maybe.
I'd like that as a poster on my wall.
That too.
Because I'm 7 years old in my mind.
And the movie of the week features a Titan, so we're not going to talk about it because we might aggravate Respawn on that.
Not that he can hear us or we can hear him be aggravated, so that's fine.
No, he's still listening in at this point. It's just that he's had to go off and deal with children. So that's everything for this week, and hopefully you've had your fun in the new PvP maps. There's a lot more to go with the final weeks before the final shape. But if you haven't checked out the PvP maps yet, jump into New Territory playlist to give them a try. Not only are they beautiful and fun, you can earn the Slaycation emblem by checking them out. So there is a reason to go in there and get your ass handed to you by all the Trials players practicing.
There's a light up dance floor that's awesome. And you get shouted at if you get caught playing on it.
You did like that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I liked that a lot, but then I got told off because I was playing on the dance floor.
Yeah, not shooting people in the face.
But the dance floor was so much fun.
So Bungie's going to be back next week with another TWID, or TWAB as we like to call it, sharing more details on the final shape. So with that, we're going to be back next week with more information. I don't know if Noble's going to be back next week. Noble, do you want to come back next week?
Well, if I can get a permission slip, because I've already been shouted at today, because it's
Yes. Yeah.
So if I can get a permission slip, I will most definitely be back.
Because I know Peroty is not going to be here next week.
Well, there you go.
Before we go, I do have a couple of videos, and there was one dropped into our chat by our Australian host that hasn't actually hosted one of the podcasts for a long time, Andy13. He's found a video by Aegis, which has a macro update for the Wishwall menu and farming assist, and he's going to try it. So he'd like other people to try it. You've dropped in the 0 hour fire and pass for our people trying to do the 0 hour, so that's really helpful. That works. A powerful new synergy with these builds, and this is stupid builds from TDT. And again, I had to put this one in mainly in honor of Peroty because it had a sweet business on the front cover.
Yes.
So 3 builds, go and check that out because they are very funny the way that they kind of put those together, those videos. Instant kill cheese for the 0 hour, which we were talking about with the Dragon's Breath and the rockets from Cheese Forever. And then I've got the top most slept on PvP weapons no one is using by True Vanguard this week. Now, I've not been sleeping on them, but I want to kind of share these with other people. It's things like the old Sterling, the auto rifle, and the Stay Frosty pulse rifle from the Dawning. Things like that are kind of really, really good in certain situations with the right perks. So True Vanguard goes over those in his video. One exotic, which I don't think is really slept on because he's picked up on Graviton Lance. So I don't think that's slept on in PvP or PvE.
It's always been good.
Yeah. And as I said, the solo flawless legendary 0 hour by Jimbo, it's only got 409 views, but you need to go and view it. It's 20 minutes long. It does what it says on the tin. Go and watch it. It's good fun. Grand Overture is doing a lot of damage in the Pantheon, and Cheese Forever's calling it a glitch. I think it's just more of an exploit with the Caretaker. So if you're finding a little bit of a problem with the Caretaker, then go and check that one out. And I think that's it for and like my 0 hour guides and things that I said I put in there as well. So anything else from you, Noble?
No. I'd share any videos that I've watched on YouTube, but to be honest, that's none.
Oh, but there you go then.
Because I don't watch YouTube, as I'm often mocked for.
And I suppose I think we're coming up nearly on 4 hours of a podcast.
Yeah,
I'd like to apologise to people at this point in time that if you wanted to listen to a short podcast, I'm sorry, but if you wanted to listen to a very long podcast, like some of our listeners like, then there you go. This is it. And because it's so long, and because I'm having editing issues, it may just be this with all the fluffs in it and all of the kind of coughs, the sneezes that I kind of normally edit out. You may get the enhanced kind of audio version if the laptop can kind of hold it together to enhance the audio to make us all sound reasonable for a podcast, or you might get an edited version. Depends on how this laptop kind of holds up this week. But I'd like to thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty, who's not here, and me, Night Demon, and Noble. You want to be a Titan this week?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'll be a Titan. It's worse things. I could be a hunter.
Yeah, your hunters. They were no one respawns in real life. He's probably shouting at me because I've actually server muted him at this point. And Donny, he was here this week, and then he had to run off because he had problems with his electric. But you can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook as Two Titans and a Hunter. You can email the show for any of your marriage worries or destiny problems at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. You can find the show everywhere you get your podcasts, and follow us on YouTube for each new episode, weekly update videos, and live streams, sort of, at the moment.
Oh, and
Yes.
you can find them on TikTok as well, because I've recently been blagged into downloading that by Peroty, because he's a mean man. And they're also on there, because I've even liked them on there to make sure that they've got nice and lots of people following them, because that's how you do it.
Yeah. So you can find us at twotitansandahunter.com is where the website thing is. We'll take you to all the things, and there's links there at the top of the page to all the links that we've had throughout all the years, just in a nice Google document. And then with the podcast each week, we'll put the most recent links if they're relevant they will kind of go into the Google Doc. So that's pretty cool. But if you want to join the Odder Dance Troupe, threaten us with a good time, or throw more grenades, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/TTAH, just like Noble has.
Yes.
And if you're looking for a more casual encounter, Ko-fi.com at 2 Titans and a Hunter. So you can chuck us a buck for that if you want. If it's a low cost amount. If you don't want to kind of Patreon up. If you want the thrill of live action and spicy language, head on over to twitch.tv/no one respawns in real life. But if you want to keep it family friendly, like a proper British gentleman, I'm not sure if I'm a proper British gentleman. You head over to twitch.tv/2 Titans and a Hunter, because that's where I go. So your Patreons that you can't threaten with a good time are Zep Orbit, Calvin Burns, Jay Slice, and K4. The Odder Dance Troupe are the T-Rex King, the Scarlet KM, Mellow Mally, Dedicated Wham64, and Renard Collant. And throwing more grenades are Cover 2782, Golden God, We Noble, Basically Salt, Fire Squad 1688, Codison 105, and Deacon's Day 1 Raid Team is Dimwee, Gravy Jeff, and PP Pipe. And if I've missed you off, it's because Peroty hasn't given me an up-to-date list, so I do apologise.
Peroty kicked me off the list for long enough.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I'm sorry that's the end of the show. But my wife probably isn't sorry. So
it was mine.
Yeah.
So I'm going to email 2 Titans and a Hunter.
So with that, we're going to go and appease our wives. So adieu and deuces. Whatever else people want to say. What do you want to say? Goodbye.
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 Thanks for hanging out with us. I am Respawn. Still love you though. All right.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.